What a piece of junk!
This is the Shattered Order Podcast.
Go switch off!
If you're looking for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news, information, and theory crafting, you've found the podcast you're looking for. With your hosts, Goodnight Punk and Wind Killer Inc.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 127th episode of the Shattered Order Podcast. I'm your host, Goodnight Punk, and with me, as always, is my good friend Wink. But what you can't see is that we also have two others with us, our friends from Operation Metaverse, TMoney and GoodOl'Maurice. So what's up, everybody? What's up? What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Hey, is that what the kids are saying these days? What's scup?
Scup is the new thing.
Nice, nice.
Was
hey,
not aware of that. Interesting.
I'm hip. I'm cool.
Good to know. Yeah, you parents stay up with all the hip stuff. You know, those of us without kids don't get to keep up with all that stuff, unfortunately.
You know all the dog lingo, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's true. Well, if you are unaware, I'm just transitioning.
Beautiful.
Right. If you are unaware, we have two really awesome guests, return guests, in fact. GoodOl'Maurice and TMoney from Operation Metaverse. What is going on?
Double intro.
This is the problem we had last time, is we were both so polite we wanted to let the other person talk first. So I'm doing really well personally. I love your show. I love being on your show. I'm very excited to be on with Goodnight Punk for the first time. The first time we were here, I was definitely the third wheel in a Nerd Boy date. There's a lot of Bistan talking. There was a lot of mod conversations. I mean, I love mod conversations, but it was yes. We're on a double date this time. It's awesome.
Yeah, this will work out much better. Yeah, I know. I've been MIA, just dodging like crazy.
This is great, man. I'm real excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you here. So, what do you got for us, Wink? What's this intro stuff?
Well, why don't you guys go ahead and tell everyone, if they are unfamiliar with you, which I don't know why they would be, but go ahead and fill everybody in on what you guys do over at Operation Metaverse.
Go ahead, Maurice.
Well, we have a YouTube channel. We stream every Tuesday at 9:30 EST, all about the game. We do more or less like a news flash to kind of begin, and then we kind of go into a couple meteor topics. We usually have a guest on. Wink, you've been on, I think, twice now.
Yeah.
We usually have a guest, and we discuss something that they specialize in. Like last week, we did some work with some Ewok fanboys. So they gave some good advice, who to gear. One actually made a great Reddit post, and he came on. Yeah, we went over that, and just out loud, it was good information. I learned a lot. And we do videos actually. We've taken a little break from our roots of the videos, but we're actually working on one now. It's going to be a build your own scoundrel type video that we're going to put the finishing touches on, hopefully this weekend. So
cool.
Very nice.
Sounds exciting. And we will have a link to your YouTube channel in the show notes for those of you listening on the podcast, so you guys can go subscribe and check out their channel and all that good stuff. The other thing is trivia. Our good friend Tesh does a lot of really awesome work on the trivia. However, he can always use more help. So if you ever have a trivia question idea, go to shatteredorder.com, go to the bottom of the page, and there is a link to go submit a trivia question, and that sends the link directly over to Tesh. We don't get to see it. That way we don't know what's coming, and can help him out because I know people always have, trivia question ideas, so that is a great way to submit those over to Tesh.
And as far as I know, Green Bay Packers and Lions questions will not be accepted. So I know for everyone that think that that's an option.
Hey, all right.
We're probably trying to kick it to Swubga here.
I said in the very beginning of the show, I wasn't convinced Packers were going to beat the Cardinals. I consider that the sacrificial lamb for my Sooners making it into the college football playoffs. So I'm okay with it. That's how I've been sleeping.
We'll take Mike McCarthy in Cleveland. We'll take him.
I hope he gets a good job there. He's a good coach. Yeah. Cross your fingers and go Baker Mayfield. The other thing, we need you guys to all go subscribe. There are a lot of you that listen to the show and are not subscribed to our YouTube channel. youtube.com/shatteredorderpod. I'll put that link in the show notes too. Go subscribe. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're slowly getting there, and I'm even going to have a really exciting video coming up later this weekend on how to use Jedi in Phase 2 of the Sith Raid, so make sure you check that out.
Are they good there?
They're okay. They are okay.
I've heard things. I mean,
and fun too.
I agree. Very fun.
The last thing is, we mentioned last week we're going to do a Q&A this week. Well, this Grand Arena stuff changed our plans. We decided to bring on some guests who like talking about teams and various things like that. So we're just going to dive all into the Grand Arena this week. So I think we might as well get into this first topic.
Hey guys, what did you do in Swoga this week?
So why don't we start with our guests? If you guys have any highlights from this week you would like to share, we would love to hear it.
Oh, baby, do I. I have gone from a 5-star wicket, 4 out of 85 shards, to I think I'm 20 out of 100 now, just by farming the hard node. And this is an experience that we had a free-to-play kind of panel on the show a month ago, whenever Revan was right about to come, and we're talking about how to farm really intensely for on hard nodes. And so I kind of followed this recipe, and by gosh, it works. It's I've gone all the way up to like right up to the 200 refreshes. I haven't done that 200 crystal refresh, but I'm getting between 11 and like maybe 15, 16 shards a day. And it's been awesome. I was really nervous, though. What's going to hold me back is that I need 45 low gray shards. So that's going to be, I can dip them out of the store, out of the whale store. So that's a possibility, but that's been my exciting piece. And I also like miraculously got Wicket to gear 11 they were all like level 50 gear 6 or 5. So there's a little bit of whaling involved there. I bought like a $50 crystal pack and because I needed like 10 of the MK3 holo projectors, but I'm feeling like I can do the C-3PO event, whereas I was near tears earlier this week, thinking that I would miss my first legendary.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's me. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. That's pretty that's pretty good, definitely. And you won't regret it. I'd say this: I love Wicket, especially for the Zetas. That's another great part of that farm.
Yeah, my guild's been giving me a hard time. They're like, "You what? You don't have Wicket at 7 stars? Who are you?" That's like probably a full Zeta and a half you missed. Like, my strategic
that's
guild
what I was
leader.
About to say. That's the best thing about Wicket. I mean, this is just a bonus, the C-3PO thing, but all the Zetas, that's hard to pass up on.
I know. I've been like repressing that and ignoring and slacking, definitely. And then Grand Arena, of course. We're a big, we're big on territory wars, and so it's been super exciting to see all of these see Grand Arena drop and see all of the different scoring and try to wrap my head around that strategy. So that's been really exciting. Big week.
Very nice.
Well, unlike her, I mean, I don't know. I like the Ewoks. I've neglected them. It's not because they're a poor team. I don't have the mods to do an entire new team, right? So I'm kind of doing the bare minimum. I'm going to take them all up. I think I'm going to take Elder and Wicket to 11 and low grade to 11. I'm going to try Paplu and Chirpa at gear 10, I think it is. I've got 3 of them at 11, 2 of them at 10. I'm just going to try it, but I've made like a little spreadsheet for myself of what gear they need. So I'm keeping it all in the bank, just kind of stockpiling it to see, no Zeta on Chirpa. So I'm going to slowly build them up to where they need to be. But I'm pretty excited about it because this is the first time I've actually used the Ewoks, and all this discussion about the Ewoks, I'm sure will be brought up tonight. Just it's got me. I've learned how to play the Ewoks just through chatter. So now they're kind of exciting. Paplu, is like the facilitator. That's the one I'm having. I'm gonna have to. I don't know. Either got to pick the Ewoks or First Order. I can't have both. But that had a lot of fun with ships this week. We had a guy, Dutch, long. I've been playing with Dutch for a long time. He gave us some footage and kind of helped explain like the new ship meta, if you will. So I've had a lot of fun in the fleet arena trying out.
Sorry, I misheard you. I didn't hear ship arena. Sorry, I got the chuckles. You're giving me the chuckles.
We were talking about being naughty with the language before the stream, weren't we?
Yeah, I'm like, he's at home. He feels it.
Well, I mean, if I slipped up, I apologize. But that term was relevant about a month ago because I hated ships, but now it's fun again because I'm using like Anakin and Fives, who's been sitting collecting dust. It's been a fun week.
Very nice. Well, good night, Punk. What did you do?
A whole lot of nothing. Well, mainly because my Ewoks are golden. So this is the first time that I've actually not had to panic anything. So I'm just sitting back
way
and
ahead.
There's a lot of Ewok arrogance going on in the community right now, I have to say.
Yeah, that's no kidding.
They're allowed. They've been sitting on Ewoks, trying to justify them for a year and a half or two now, trying to push them on everybody, and everyone's like, "Oh, now."
I see.
Like patting their heads into the corner. It's just
Since this show's been on, right? Like even back in the day when we first started and the game was new, and it was always to me, and we can attest this. I loved anything with like a good synergy to it, and you take the time. I finally took the time like 6 months ago because there wasn't really anything I needed to farm gear on, and I just got the Ewoks up because they're a fun team, and turns out it's gonna end up being a good thing for me. So, but it is fun to it is fun to say, hey, I have golden Ewoks, and watch people farm them. It's pretty fun.
I have some statistics at my fingers about about Chief Chirpa Zetas.
Mm-hmm.
So it was I just had this sent to me. So they increased by 1,000, I think, in 3 days after C-3PO was announced, from 8,800 to 9,900. And then I just got somebody just sent me an update, and it's he's now Chief Chirpa has now surpassed Jedi Knight Revan in number of Zetas at 12,669 in the game. So, wow. Hey, yeah.
I'm sure more people have Chief Chirpa though. I will say, I can guess that.
Yes, it's about 57% of all Gear 11 Chirpas are Zeted.
So before this week, the first one I did was Wickets, because the healing from his AoE is just redonkulous. And then I got Chirpas because of the assist. I'm loving it. But I can see Chirpa being the first one you want anyway, so I can totally see that number going up like that. It's crazy.
That's crazy. I'm pretty surprised. I figured a lot more people would hold on to their Zetas a little bit longer and then actually wait and see how tough the event is and then kind of go from there. But
I am, because if I start the Zeta on Chirpa, I'm going to end up doing them all, and it's just going to be. This is kind of.
That's what I'm worried about.
Reminiscent of Chewie, right? Like Chewie came out, and it's I don't want it to be a resource drain for me if something bigger is coming in, a month or so. Like I was not ready for Revan. Like I struggled in Arena for weeks because I only had one Zeta. It was a real struggle. So I don't want to do that again.
Makes sense.
Totally understandable.
Let's see.
One nice thing about Goodnight Punk having his golden Ewoks is with Grand Arena. I mean, he's got a team that probably not a lot of people have, and that's a pretty big advantage.
I put it on defense for 5 minutes today, so there was that.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, the guy I was playing had a quadruple Zeta Ewok team. I had no idea what I was going to do with that. I didn't even know.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so.
Rough. Let's see. This week I started farming the Houndstooth finally. So now that...
Why'd you do that?
Oh, we'll talk about that. You'll see.
Okay.
I maxed out Yoda, so first character with 2 Gear
choice.
12 police, or Gear 2, man, I can't talk. 2 Gear 12 plus pieces, so I finished him.
Wow.
And I just got one more to go on Revan, and finally putting those Gear 12s to use now that I got that massive stockpile.
Crazy.
Nice.
And here's a funny, you'll like this one, Wink. I'm actually working on characters for a ship. So I Gear 10 Landino and I Gear 8 L3 because I've almost got Lando's Millennium Falcon to 7 stars. And I really like that ship, so.
That's a nice ship.
It's really good. I've seen so many people using it in Arena, and man, when that thing comes in as a 3rd or 4th reinforcement, it can do some serious work. Like, it not fun to deal with.
Yeah, it's a good it's definitely a good to be one of your last reinforcements if you have last that long because of all the extra bonus attacks it gets. It's pretty fun. Plus it's got the dispel as well, so it's pretty cool.
Nice.
How about you, Wink? What have you been up to?
Well, so I wanted to clarify one thing I said last week. And that was because I was going through my mods. I've been trying to get a little bit more offense on Grandmaster Yoda, which is kind of difficult at this point. But I noticed that I had an offense primary mod with offense % secondary. And I said last week that you can't have those. You can't have those anymore. They were available kind of like in the beginning of the game. And that's why both of mine are health set bonus. They're pretty rare to run across.
What's funny about that is based off what you just said, I was wondering about what you said last week because I was searching, you know how you get in the filter and if you go back in it, sometimes what you had is saved there and you have to start over or press clear to make it go away, and sometimes it's already cleared. Well, I went in there and it wasn't already cleared, and I hit offense % primary, but my offense % secondary was still already pressed when I went to search, and I had 4 mods that had offense % primary and secondary. So I'm like,
I'm looking right now.
I was like, oh, well, I guess that can happen. Maybe it's not as prevalent.
Were they all health set bonus as well?
That is a good question. I don't know off the top of my mind. I just knew that I saw some that were similar, and it was throwing me off.
Anyway, I think that was something they changed shortly after mods came out, because you don't see those anymore.
Like the very rare secondary speed arrows that were there for a little bit.
I'll have one of those, man. The other thing I did this week was literally the day after we recorded our last podcast, when I was so excited about the 10 million I got in phase 2 of the raid. I ended up hitting 14 million the day after the podcast with my Revan team, and then the other day I hit 13.5 or something like that. And the last run, the 13 something million, I actually got some video footage of. So I'm going to put together a video this weekend with kind of my top strategies for maximizing your Jedi in that phase. It'll be pretty universal as far as being good for Revan teams and Bastila teams. Both those teams should do quite well. Revan's going to be better, obviously. But most of the tips I'm going to talk about in that video are going to be catered to both of those teams, actually. So make sure you check that out on our YouTube channel. Other than that, that's pretty much the gist of it. I mean, I've kind of looked at my Ewoks, but that's about it. I've been farming stuff. I guess I'll say the one thing that I have changed this week as far as farming strategies is bounty hunter ships. I am doing node refresh on the bounty hunter ships because if you notice in game, there are 4 of them. 3 of them recently became available. Boba Fett's been here a while. Here is my theory. I suspect that we will need 3 bounty hunter ships, probably 7-star. We'll see. And probably the Exectrix, I would guess. And that will be the requirements to eventually get a Millennium Falcon, which I could totally see C-3PO being a crew member of. So I am trying to make sure that I am working on farming those bounty hunter ships, getting at least 3 of them to 7-stars, because I do not want to miss out on that.
Can I add to that I'm wondering about the pilots being 7-stars as well. I agree with you. It's either that or I'm sorry I can't give the kudos to whoever thought of this first. It was not me, GoodOl'Maurice, you might know, but the cargo ship. It might be the cargo ships too that we need, because then you would need the 2 Millennium Falcons and Bosk's ship and.
Oh, it was Ramon.
It was Ramon, yeah. So yeah.
I hope that's not what it is.
You just looked at yours, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So, good. But either way, like you might need the pilots. I can't remember for the Phoenix event to get Thrawn's ship. I think you needed the pilots at 7-stars as well, right? You couldn't just have the ships. I think I had all of my pilots at 7-stars in order to be able to get Thrawn in the first place. So,
yeah, that one kind of had weird requirements because of the Thrawn-ish thing in the first place. So I don't know. I wonder if that is a thing that'll happen. I never really thought about the pilot thing, because that adds an extra layer to legendaries as ships go, because now you don't just need one type of thing at 7-star, you got 2, and that would be out of control. And especially for the bounty hunters, because most of them are hard nodes as well as their ships, and rough.
Oh, Bosk and Houndstooth would be a nightmare to panic farm. That'd be awful.
It'd be almost yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like and 2 and 20 energy nodes. No thanks.
See you in 6 months.
The road ahead post is what really kind of got me onto this idea that's going to be bounty hunters specifically, just because they had 3 come out recently. There was already 1. So if they kind of force you to panic farm, 2 of the new ships already have Slave 1. That would get you at the 3 required bounty hunter ships. And, why else would they release 3 ships? It seems kind of odd. Plus the fact that they were talking about going back to the original trilogy, I think that really lends towards the Millennium Falcon. And, that's the ship they were hunting. They were specific. Mm-hmm. These bounty hunter ships were literally going directly after the Millennium Falcon. Logically with the movie, it ties in too well, I think, for them to not do that. So
it does really. I think that's the path of least resistance. And one of my guildies, we did a show, one of our streams.
Actually, those are tough ships to get.
They are. Yeah, and the timing. I don't know if we have. I just pulled the Revan timing out, and I think it was like 2 months, maybe a month and a half, 2 months between the time that the last units dropped in nodes until the event launched. So it might not be that long. And for people who are scrambling with Ewoks right now, I'm spread way too thin to be double farming the Xanadu blood node. But GoodOl'Maurice is really happy that they put Jango Fett in there this week, because he just got the Houndstooth to 7-star. So he gets
you're being
to
sarcastic. Okay, that really
that's so frustrating.
It really chapped my buttons. Let me tell you what. I was refreshing the node, just spending 75, sometimes 125 crystals a day to farm that thing. You know, it just and now it's done, and now Django, who I was really excited about, I've been gearing him kind of slowly, and he's just gonna have to wait. I'm not getting Django.
So
I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm too close to being done with Houndstooth. But there was one other thing I wanted to mention about farming them. Like, I think if you're going for bounty hunter ships, Slave 1, you've had so much lead time on. It's a safe assumption. The Houndstooth is an amazing ship, maybe the best in the game, and now you're getting Django with it, so that's an obvious farm. But whenever it comes down to IG-2000 and Xanadu Blood, IG-2000 is on a 16 energy node versus Xanadu Blood that's on a 20 energy node. So that is something else to consider if you're trying to decide between those two to farm. It's going to be a lot cheaper, and, you know, you may be able to even do a node refresh that you wouldn't have been able to do or something along those lines if you wanted to go with the IG-2000 versus Xanadu.
It's not a terrible ship. It's by no means fantastic, but it's serviceable. You know, it can replace TIE Advance. You can use TIE Advance somewhere else. And IG-2000 kind of serve the same purpose, like under a Tarkin with all the debuffs and stuff. So I mean, it's okay. It's good for depth. So if you get the ship, you'll be glad you have it for like Grand Arena, Territory Wars, things like that.
Yeah.
Here's another idea just thrown out there for the reason to add ships if it wasn't the Millennium Falcon. And I've said this all the time on the show. If they want to make a ship raid, they have to add more ships. There's not enough ships in the game to have any type of real grouping of teams to use. The synergy, thinking about synergy and ships for a ship raid just isn't really there with how many ships are in the game. So they've been adding a lot of Sith and a lot of bounty hunters. I just hope they're adding them so that eventually they have enough ships that they can actually make a ship raid.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love those new Sith ships. We got to try those out on the test account, and GoodOl'Maurice and I were like, oh, we should probably do a video about these ships. Let's just go and check them out. And we're kind of a little bit reluctant because we really like to, really dive in and just really play with something, like do like 100 arena battles before we're ready to kind of make a decision about it. We went in and we're like beating the Houndstooth bounty hunter meta just right off the bat. We're like, ooh, these are actually really great, easy to play ships with their concussion bombs. I mean, those are just those are lovely. That's one of those things on my list. It's like right below Zalbar. I just keep pulling them onto my favorites, and now they are both farmable now, right? The other Sith Marauder ship, I was aggressively farming him in Cantina for his ship, and then I needed another Jedi, so I started doing Isla Secura because she was not unlocked a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
Now she is.
Very nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good character.
Get with the program.
She is, yeah.
It was really sad that, so the B-28 marquee was the same time they released Jango or Revan's kit, I think. So pretty much like no one cared about the ship at all.
Well, they did Xanadu Blood with Django. Like, they've been slipping these ships in all stealth-like. It's almost like they don't want people to notice. So that leads me to believe there is going to be an original trilogy Millennium Falcon, because they kind of slipped them in, nobody noticed them, and then poof, panic farm these on the 20 energy nodes.
Well, they also had some of the ships missed their drop times for fleets and for nodes because of the and no one really even noticed that they weren't keeping pace for those ships and the marquee schedule, except for the hardcore ship people were like, hey, shouldn't this be farmable now? And they're like, oh yeah, oops.
All 30 of them.
Here's a 2 days later, they're like, here's an update that makes Xanadu Blood farmable or whatever it was. There was 1 or 2 ships that were that way. So it's like these ships are on the back of the mind right now with everything else that's going on. But there's some really good ones that have come out. So
that's true.
It's kind of comforting to me though that ships are not front of mind for them, because it feels like we have a little bit of leeway. it's like oh, they're forgetting to drop the marquees when they're supposed to be dropped. Maybe they're as much of a priority as they are to CG and EA as they are to the majority of players at the moment. They're getting more interesting. It's nice to have more options and to be a little bit more creative. I've gone back to like the TIE fighter pilot dodge meta on offense, which I just win with every single time. Doesn't matter who I'm fighting, putting foresight up and just forcing my capital ship to the ultimate faster than the other cap ship, and it's an easy win. But I have my bugs pretty well maxed. 2 at gear 12 with some, I think 1 or 2 pieces maybe, and then spy at gear 11. So, but I've taken them out in favor of Houndstooth, TIE fighter pilot, and Kylo Ren's. I always get the name wrong. Is it the slicer or the silencer?
It depends on who you ask.
Okay.
That's true.
The one, the cool one with the pointy things on the front. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, that the old Kylo ship is the counter to the new Geonosian counter. The old Kylo ship, the shuttle, that thing's gonna come in handy when people start switching over to Thrawn and Mace and go with the Houndstooth and I've got Gauntlet Starfighters everywhere in my shard. That everyone's running Gauntlet Starfighter, Silencer Advance, and Houndstooth under Tarkin or Mace. Everybody on the shard. It's just that especially once people start getting Anakin, that Kylo shuttle is going to be interesting because you can bring it in reserve and remove turn meter from the reinforcements. So Anakin's going to come in. He's not going to be able to do his AoE. He just sits there, hopefully wide open. You can just blast him right out. Like that Kylo shuttle is like the counter to the counter. So it's if you have the pilots and you got the ship, kind of maybe put it in your favorites. You might need it the next couple months.
What is this? What we're talking about? Ship strategies? Is this a thing that exists now, or?
It's true.
Yeah.
Set it and forget it, man. I thought that's what happened with ships.
I was gonna add one last piece of ship strategy, and that is the TIE Reaper is still freaking good.
It's awesome.
It is such a good reinforcement because if you have it come in as reinforcement, you've already got ships that are down in health, and if you have a slower capital ship, that ship could be the difference between you getting your ultimate ability off versus the enemy. So do not overlook the TIE Reaper.
Well, my reinforcements are Fides, Reaper, and I also use Sunfac. All 3 of those ships remove a slight amount of turn meter, but you keep bringing them in, and they keep removing turn meter. You keep reducing the capital ship's turn meter. And Thrawn is actually back to being a good fleet commander now. I do like Thrawn again. It's been a while. Tarkin's useless versus this Mace meta. This thing is going to be silly. It's so infuriating. It's like Revan versus Revan.
I have almost no Maces. It's kind of nice. So
my ship shard is so quiet. I was really taken aback the other day when there was like a Xanadu blood Houndstooth ghost. I was like, no, I'm the one who brings the meta to this ship shard, not this random human being who happens to have Cad Bane at gear 12. I'm not okay. It's like, damn, because usually it's like, and it sounds arrogant, but it's just it's so quiet, and and it's like I have the bugs, and then 3 months later someone else gets the bugs. It's like, oh, it's so great. But yeah, those Xanadu blood, but it's hard because I don't have anywhere to practice. I'm always practicing in arena, putting in alternate teams, trying to take down Revan with Rain Nest or Night Sisters or whatever in preparation for territory wars, but I can't practice anything, and I can't theory craft in my ship arena because there's just nothing to fight against. So it's good and it's bad. Yeah.
Well, Dutch is lurking in your chat here. He created a monster. Well, what a good fleet he came. That's what I give him a shout out. I'm sorry. Good team, Dutch. Good team. I'm enjoying ships.
Nice. There you go. Perfect comment here in chat. If Wampa had a ship, Goodnight Punk would feel differently about ships. That is true. If I could put my Wampa inside of anything, I would be happy.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
And arena report from me, not a lot happening in the 200 to 300 range, just saying. We're seeing a whole lot of the same thing from back before Ship 2.0, including my own, so For those of you that were
that's
interested.
where you're in ships.
that's
You
where
still
I
clipping
rate
that
ships.
Biggs. Got that Biggs in there.
Biggs is out. No, is Biggs out there? Yes, I run Biggs, TIE Advance, and TIE Fighter Pilot because I'm balling.
Good. You ready for TW? That's all you're allowed in TW.
I said, yep, it's working for me. Well, it's working for me there. I don't know about Arena.
All right, you guys ready to move on? Next topic?
I am.
Sure.
Always in motion, the future is. To the calendar we must look.
Well,
So who is that actually? Is that one of your like really like sexy lovers, or what's going on there?
yeah, it is quote unquote the sultry female. That is her nickname, but it's my girlfriend. So I
Lucky
you
man.
know, every now and then I'll be like, all right, I need you to come record some stuff, come up with something sultry, and
That's normal
that's
voice.
how it
by the
happens. Yeah, exactly.
Normal voice.
Just calling you out.
All right, so next week, December 14th, there is something happening in the game. Does anyone
What's
know
that?
what that is?
The boxes are being unlocked.
Yes.
Yeah,
Give me my
that
portrait.
Is true. That is one thing. Yes.
we're gonna be
Well-
on our 4th tried exhibition match in Grand Arena.
Yes. For 5 minutes, we will be attacking.
I don't know. We might be on our 4th by Sunday, but you know, it's only the 7th. I mean, by the 14th, we could get in a lot of those.
What time is it? How much longer we got in the podcast? We might have the second one by then.
Yeah,
It's up
maybe.
right now.
Yeah,
It's
I
already
joined
there.
it.
I just joined.
Let me set my defense. I'll be back.
All right, so C-3PO was announced. He will be coming. Sounds like next week on the 14th. That is what the hints were given out, I do believe. And
Live on the show last week. So if you want to see my excited face, go watch last week's episode. Because I was looking on Reddit while Wink was talking about God knows what, and this picture of the golden god just appeared on my screen, and I couldn't help but smile because I just knew what it meant.
he knew that the Ewoks were gonna be required, and they are. You're gonna need 5 of them. There's one really interesting thing that I have noticed is that we do not know if this is going to be a legendary event or not. They said Ewoks, which a entire faction lends towards a legendary event, which would mean a 5-star unlock. But we've had no other information indicating that that is the case or anything of the sort. So that is, you know, we'll see. Hoping he will be like Chewbacca, be a legendary event, unlock 5-star, and have the opportunity to get him at 7-star, but we will see. So, good night, Punk.
What's up?
What do we do with this info? You worship the Ewoks like the Ewoks worship C-3PO. You know everything about them, so
I don't know about all
tell
that,
us.
but I do know what my opinion the best Ewok team is, and that is the one I have gold. And that is Zeta Chirpa lead with a Wicket. Gosh, I cannot talk. Wicket, Logray, Paplu, and Elder. And people were asking in our chat on Discord why Elder and not someone like Scout for the DPS. And the reason you want Elder not only because of his revive, his special revive, but if you look at his basic ability, he adds DPS, or not DPS. What is wrong with me? Turn meter. He adds turn meter on his basic anytime he attacks. And with the Ewoks, there's a lot of assist abilities with a Zeta Chirpa lead. So there's a lot of chances for Elder to be pulled in and add a bunch of turn meter to your team through the basic of Elder. So I think that a lot of people think of the Ewoks and they think of this pestering team that takes a lot of turns because they gain a lot of turn meter, and one of the main reasons for that is Elder. So I think if you're going to take someone out for Scout, it's probably going to be Paplu. But then you leave yourself open without a tank. But I would say Scout for Paplu would probably be the best for that team if you're going to use Scout and not Paplu. Scout and you want to leave Elder in there. And that might work for some people because Scout's been in the game forever. So some people might have him at 7 stars instead of Paplu. But yeah, I think in an Ewok team, you definitely want to leave Elder in. And that was a question that was asked earlier. So yeah, Zeta, Chirpa, Wicket, Logray, Elder, Paplu. And like I said, my favorite Zeta for healing on that team is Wicket. And another one, I want you guys to tell me what you think about this, because it's kind of something people haven't really talked about. But when Paplu and Logray came out, kind of with Paplu, one of the main things people talked about was that it seemed like he was built for a T-bow lead. So let me find him here and tell you the reason for that. So his basic, or his unique, whenever Paplu gains a status effect, he gains 5% health and protection. Whenever Paplu gains stealth, dispel stealth and gain taunt for 2 turns. Paplu has 25% speed when he does not have taunt active. So always trying to find a way to get himself taunt. And if you don't know T-bow's ability, his leader ability, allies have a 55% chance to gain stealth for 1 turn at the beginning of their turns, and 50% chance to gain 25% turn meter at the end of their turns. So if you're using a T-bow lead with Paplu, fill in the blanks for the other Ewoks. I think that that's another team that could be usable if you don't have Chirpa to lead the team. So just an idea to put out there that I don't think I've heard too much about, but have you guys ever thought about that since the Ewoks were introduced? Have you ever thought about Ewoks since they were introduced?
Yeah, I gotta be honest.
No,
I know
not
some like
really, no.
lovely. I know like some of my besties are like big Ewok fans, and when they talk about them, I would just hear. I'm just gonna be cheesy right now. Like I would just hear like yub nub. Like I would not pay attention to what they were saying, and now it's like edge of my seat, like thriller movie, like tell me more, because I'm finally gonna have my Ewoks. I don't do a team halfway. I'm not gonna just get this team good enough to get 3PO, because they are very useful. They can go against Night Sisters, Bounty Hunters, First Order. So it's I might as well have another team in my pocket for Territory Wars and Grand Arena. So yes, I have not thought about that, but it's very cool. T-bow was one of my first 7-star characters, as I'm sure it was for many people, Yeah. And he like I don't think there's any other character that removes 100% turn meter on a basic. Mm-hmm. He's a good little Ewok. Yeah. He's great. I love the stealth mechanic. Back in the days where it wasn't all about efficiency in Territory Wars, I would put him as lead and try and take down some like counter team or whatever. So even at Gear 9. So yeah, that's a really good point. With the stealth, I'm fascinated learning about them, because they are a very, very cool team. Like I don't know if there's any team that's more synergistic, that has more like heal mechanics, assist mechanics, and turn meter mechanics in the game. Like it's just their damn damage that is holding them back.
Sure. Yeah, those 1,500 damage basic attacks.
And maybe 3PO is going to do something about that for them. It's going to give them some enthusiastic buff when he's kicking.
It would have to be like 500% offense for me to be interested.
It would be Territory War bonus for Clone Wars month damage to get them up there.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ewoks are really interesting because, like you said, like they have all these turn meter mechanics and all this stuff that kind of synergizes them really well together. And like you were talking about Logray, like he has an AoE daze. He's one of like 4 characters in the entire game that has an AoE daze. And then
that also removes turn meter, doesn't it?
He's a very slow nest is what he is. He's a very, very slow
that
nest.
Fuzzy.
Yeah, kind of. And So that kind of makes me think and just wonder what type of event we're actually going to see for C-3PO, because ideally using Ewoks, I would suspect it would be something exactly like something that we already have in the game, and that is the Endor escalation battle. I mean, it would be perfect to have the Ewoks battle against the Empire and an AT-AT to get C-3PO. So I'm kind of wondering if this will be maybe like a more legendary event like that, if we will maybe see another AT-AT, or if it'll just be all Empire. You're probably not going to see Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine. You're probably not going to see any of those characters in the event, I wouldn't think, if it's kind of following the storyline, which a lot of these events kind of do to some degree, or at least they try to. I'm very curious because the wide-ranging abilities that the Ewoks have as a whole, I think, is really going to determine, the type of event is really going to determine what Ewoks you want to take into the battle.
Yeah, for sure. That's the only part that makes me scared, because there's two leaders. There's Chirpa and there's Tebow. I have those 5 I talked about at Gear 12. I have Scout at Gear 11, and my Tebow is Gear 9. So if it requires the stealth mechanic with Tebow, I'm actually going to have to put some work in on him. He was the one I left out because he's the one that, unless he's the leader, I'm probably always going to leave him out, but I'm hoping that he's not the one that's needed. That's all I'm saying.
All the talking heads like us are chirpa, 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 chirpa. And then if we go into this event, it's just like every single character counters. It's like a bunch of, just all countering characters. But, sorry, community.
Sorry, guys.
They do want to take our Zetas away from us, though. I have 4 right now. I very rarely have 4. I struggled to put Revens on, and now I'm like, never again am I getting a legendary character and not being able to put at least 2 Zetas on him right away. So I think they're gonna suck some Zetas out of us. I really do.
It's a resource drain. That's what I'm scared of.
Absolutely, of course it's a resource drain. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared.
C-3PO's he's gonna need 2 Zetas, and then you might need to spend 2 or 3 to even get him. So that's a really good point.
And then Darkside Revan comes next week. Bam! Gotcha. It's just like...
24 Zetas needed. Oh my goodness.
Probably. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I am not doing anything with my Ewoks. I am leaving them just as they are sitting right now. I am hoarding gear. I am hoarding Omegas, Zetas, currency, everything. And I think once this event goes live, I think I may jump on the Twitch, do a little live stream, and see how little gear I can beat the event with. I think that's going to be my goal. We'll see, because, man, my Ewoks are pathetic. I may not be able to save enough gear to actually beat the event, to be perfectly honest.
You and I have the same strategy. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do the bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
To do that strategy, but I'm just pouring. I see a plus sign, and I'm just putting it on. Lamar, who's in the chat right now, he made a good point. He was on one of our streams with. He was one of our Ewok guys on a stream we did last week, two streams, and he made the point that what if C-3PO has some synergy with the Ewoks that makes one of the Zetas not as needed for use in territory wars. Perhaps they're going to be an arena team. I don't think we're going to see the Ewoks taking down Jedi Knight Revan. I hope we don't.
I thought we already did. Didn't that happen the day Revan came out?
That was our guest, actually, Lamar and Dagathur 13, who he has like 18,000 views on his Ewok takedown video on Revan, but
classic.
Oh wow!
So maybe C-3PO will push him over the edge, and at least the Ewok fan boys and girls who have them at Gear 12, plus, get to run them in arena again. I mean, that's fabulous. I always think they give little props to, like, the really hardcore fans, like the Ewok fans and the Night Sister fans and the Empire fans, that they get to there's always a way to kind of use those teams with the against the current meta if you really want to and you really invest into them. So maybe that'll be for Ewoks too now.
So I should
Maybe.
start gearing my Tuskens.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Good.
No.
Great advice.
Maybe I should unlock Aurora first.
Me too.
I wanted to say about the C-3PO event. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I heard someone
No,
talking.
go ahead.
There was also said on Reddit, and I can't remember which of the devs said it, but they are looking to make it so that you can skip the cutscene on the final battle.
Oh.
And I think that they're trying to do the same for the Chewbacca event, in which we now know will be coming back this month. So the idea is that the first time you do it, you'll have to watch it, and every time after that, you don't. So hopefully with C-3PO, if that last battle is as hard as the Chewbacca one was, you won't be sitting there watching that. As cool as the cutscenes are, when you see it 1,500 times, you kind of get tired of it. So the idea here is you're not going to have to watch the cutscene over and over for C-3PO.
I still have nightmares about that Thrawn stare when he turns around and looks at you. You're like, oh, here we go again. It's just like,
Yeah, that is a good point. And you kind of mentioned Chewbacca. He's coming back. What day is it? The 26th or something?
25th, Christmas Day.
It's
Really?
on Christmas Day. Okay,
It's on
so
Christmas
get
Day. Merry
prepared.
Christmas.
If you don't already know, I did a video on this in the past. You don't need to go balls to the wall to get Chewbacca at 7 stars. If you have a Gear 12 Boba, maybe even a Gear 11. If you have that, you're good. The other bounty hunters can be middle of the road gear levels. Hell, they might not even need gear. I don't know. Just load everyone else up with potency and load Boba with offense. There'll be, we've got video on YouTube showing you how to do that. But don't go crazy on gearing up for that. But Chewbacca is officially coming back for Christmas. Very exciting stuff.
you're a better player than me. I needed. Oh, it took me a few tries at that one.
Took you like 5 tries.
Oh, it took me way more than 5
me,
tryes.
Yeah,
I was gonna stream it.
I think
I was like, I'm gonna stream the event and show everyone my fails and just do that, and it's because it's fun. But then I was like, no, I'm just gonna do this privately in my car. Like, yeah, it took me about 50 times. I ended up doing it with 2 Gear 9 bounty hunters and a Gear 11 and 2 Gear 12s. So Bosk lead, but it killed my Greedo off the bat at Gear 9, and then somehow the rest of it worked out. It's weird. It's just so RNG.
Hope John said.
The Bosk lead is the easiest way to do it for sure, but the Boba lead is the way you can do it with the least amount of gear by far.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So you were not suggesting a Zam Wessel lead?
Somebody did it with Zam lead.
I
have a
love
video
Zam.
it with
Zam
Zam
lead.
She
lead.
is.
Interesting.
She's
So
very
fun.
good. She's very, very good, and she's amazing in certain situations and awful in 75%. So
She really likes to beat up Wampas, I can tell you that much.
Does. I
Which is kind of sad.
yes.
P5 today for that mission
Nice.
as lead.
I wanted to throw this out there because those listening can't see chat, so they'll think that's still the 25th if they didn't look at the calendar themselves. I'm looking at the calendar right now. There's a red edit right on the calendar that says start date for the One Famous Wookiee event was incorrect. It's updated below, so the new start date is actually the 27th. It's not Christmas like it originally said.
So
Alright.
can I ask, if you're looking at that, I heard somebody, or Darth Bob actually, who's also listening right now, said, I think it was him, that we have a Territory Wars offensive stage on Christmas Day. What?
Really?
That seems a little bit weird. Is that still the case, or maybe they
So-
shifted some things around?
Okay.
No,
I
it's
have
not
a feeling
there.
that
There's
could
one
change
starts on the
anyway.
1st, there's one that starts on the 11th, there's one that starts on the 29th, and then one starts on January 2nd. There is a Imperial Retaliation territory battle starting the 20th. So the fifth phase would be on Christmas. But that's it as far as guild events go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
I was about to say something and I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So how about we just move along to the next topic?
All right.
Strong with us, this update is Young Padawans.
All right. There was a big title update this week. Very exciting stuff. You actually had to go to the App Store. You had to go to your updates. You had to update the actual app with a big fat download. Hopefully you have better internet than I do and didn't have to wait forever for the friggin' thing to download. But we've all got the new update now. So, what did they add? They added some pretty exciting stuff. Yes.
I just really want to talk about profile pictures. I'm just super excited for this. No, but
go for it.
I mean, it is kind of cool, and it stays on par with other games with your aesthetic rewards for doing things in the game, and it adds another layer to those quests that it's not just a title you can get, but you get a profile picture too, so you can, and you don't have to use the two together, so you can kind of mix and match what you want. It's kind of just an extra reason to do the quests that I never do anyway. So it's kind of nice to have that in there. But I wanted to say, if you have not gone and read the flavor text on these profile pictures, do yourself a favor and do that, because they are freaking hilarious. Like, I went through and I read some of them. Well, I read all of them, but there were some that were just really good. And I'm gonna read you the one that shows Zombie's picture. All right. The flavor text on Zombie's profile picture says, "It's truly dreadful the first time one sees the dead rise, but the 7th or 8th time, it's mostly just frustrating." And
so good.
There's a bunch of them on there that are like that. It's pretty great.
You tweeted out, I think, 3 of them from the Shattered Order Twitter, at Shattered Order on Twitter, of course.
Mm-hmm.
There were all 3 of them were actually pretty damn funny. I was laughing. I hadn't even seen them until you tweeted that out, and somebody replied. I was like, oh wow, yeah, that's. And then I kind of went through and started reading some of them. They are so good.
They said on Reddit, I think Carrie said on Reddit who it was that actually came up with them and how excited they were to be allowed to do something like that. So I can't go to Reddit right now to figure out who it was, but whoever you are, if you're listening, good job, because those are freaking hilarious.
Yeah, they're amazing for sure. But yeah, these new profile pictures, I mean, they really they definitely make it a little bit more, I want to say, interesting. Do they really add a lot? No, but they're fun. It's kind of nice that you may see a profile picture that you really like, and so it may push you into trying to do whatever it takes to get that specific profile picture. And
so
that's
the real question is, which one are you guys using?
I'm not using the one I want to be using. I know that much. But let me go into the game, and I will figure out which one I am suffering through using until a later time comes.
How about you, T? How about you, Maurice?
I'm
Asajj? That one's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I am using one of the Chewbacca ones.
You sure it's not
Zalbar?
Zalbar?
Exciting. No, I'm not sure it's not Zalbar. I can't zoom in far enough.
I was tempted to go Zalbar. Zalbar was on the list.
Yes, he's right there. I see him.
Jedi Consular is pretty badass. I was like, ooh, baby. Yeah. What you lack for in your kit, you make up for in your little icon.
Well, okay, so for the longest, the one I was using at first was the one that's of the dude that's sitting there next to the challenges. That's always talking about coming up with new challenges for players or whatever. You know who I'm talking about? The little dude that looks like Plo Koon. Drawing blanks here. Well, anyways, the flavor text on his is aspiring holotable heroes appreciate the sage advice from this cunning tactician, but there certainly seems to be a lot of dust on his military texts. I was using that one forever, but then with the update on the 5th, the day after the title update, they added in one with a quest to get Ewok shards, which I'm sure a lot of people that don't have the Ewoks fully geared or starred yet were happy about because it was really easy. But it unlocked Wickets, so I'm using Wickets' picture, but that's only because I'm protesting the fact that there's no Wampa. So.
Well, that's got to be. Do you notice? Have you clicked on the boxes? Because one of them says this box looks like it should be in cold storage.
Oh,
and I bet you any money that's Wampa. Yeah.
If it is, that will be my favorite Christmas present this year.
Yeah, or maybe it's like a tauntaun or something. That'd be awesome.
That's a good idea.
Sad
so
punk.
The 3 hidden ones, one of them says, hopefully this crate has breathing holes.
See, that could be Wampa too.
It could
2
be
options.
Wampa.
2 out of 3 could be Wampa. I'm happy.
I was actually gonna say these little guys.
Porg?
What are these called?
A porg?
Porgs, yeah.
Oh, maybe. That'd be pretty cute. That'd be a way to get porgs in the game without actually having them in the game, right?
Exactly.
Well, they do have starter guilds named Fresh Pulled Porg or things like that. Some of the starter guild names are about killing porgs, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Couldn't that technically be any character in the game, though? Doesn't every character in the game need breathing holes if they're closed in a box?
That is a good point.
Yeah, that's fair.
How
There's another one that says this crate looks like it's probably dangerous. So, what's dangerous?
Like all of the things are everybody's got guns and sabers and.
Well, I mean, the original crate itself blew up and killed half the team around it, so maybe this one will just unlock into itself.
That would be awesome. I hope they keep the crate should stay as one because why not?
Everyone said the crate was OP and should be introduced to the arena meta. So
those crate memes, oh my god, my heart was just like bursting with love. I just said, those crate memes were just that was right on point for my sense of humor.
So tied right along with these portrait photos is quests. I've been doing, or at least focusing on the Jedi prestigious quest, and let's see. I am on the Jedi Knight 4 of 4, so we have to win 1 more territory war, and I need to place top 10 in 4 more heroic AATs, and I will have that quest completed. And whenever you go to these little portraits, there's one for, well, it looks like Grandmaster Yoda, which I am obviously highly interested in. And I started reading, and it said, complete Jedi Master 3 of 4 prestigious quests. And I started thinking, 3 out of 4? Like, I've already done that. And then come to find out, it's Jedi Master. So this is something I didn't even realize. Once you complete these quests, once you complete the Sith, the Bounty Hunter, and the Jedi, it appears, all of them, they all open up into, another, maybe not the Bounty Hunter, maybe Fulcrum Agent, maybe not. It looks like the Jedi and the Sith, both of those have a second quest, a master level, that will unlock after you complete those initial ones. And I had no idea.
Huh, I did not either. That's very cool. Well, sort of. It just seems like it's on forever.
It's a thing.
Quests, disappointing. Like the Bounty Hunter quests are like they're long. It's a commitment.
Yeah, I thought I was about to be finished, but no, I found out that there's going to be a whole nother thing I have to go through to get the portrait I want, but I'll get there eventually. Is there a specific portrait that any of you guys want?
Wampa.
I don't know. I
Didn't see
love
that
the
coming.
Darkseid Bastila art. That's who I'm sporting right now,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of a big B to my shard right now. If anyone's listening, just so you know, I realize that I'm just terrible to you guys, but I get fussy. I'm like, stop hitting me to 5, 10 minutes after my payout, and 10 hours before you. Like I'm just like a drama queen in there. So the Darkseid Bastila is just kind of embodying how I feel about,
Nice.
Yeah.
Biston.
This is, oh yeah, yeah.
That would be
Good
sweet.
one.
Not gonna lie.
Is he in there?
Please.
No, he's not in there. If he had a
Of course
portrait,
not.
he'd almost get as much screen time just from that picture as he did in the movie. You know.
Yeah.
That's true, sadly.
Thrawn's got one, like a little over the shoulder Priscilla Presley kind of thing happening.
I'll tell you what, yeah, Jedi Consular, yeah,
He's hot, man.
He's like a little young Terrence Howard in our game right now, just hanging out.
Idris Elba. Idris Elba with a hoodie on.
So, Scout Troopers coming to the game, right?
That's an interesting thing, right? Because all these,
Along with a barmaid
and
that dude with, the military texts.
that would be awesome. Well, the only reason I leaned credence to that idea is because a lot of these, and I haven't actually gone to look through the actual quests in Stage 6 to see if there's Scout Troopers enemies in the Stage 6 as to why that picture is there for the hard, completing Darkseid Battles Stage 6 on hard, why they would put Scout Trooper there. But it is an interesting idea that I saw this week. But it seems like a terrible timing for him to just pop up out of nowhere. Besides maybe the original trilogy characters they were talking about. But when they teased that in the road ahead, did anyone really think, sweet, we might get Scout Trooper?
No.
Yeah,
That's
so,
a good point.
I don't know.
But he is like the most commonly used like AI enemy in the game. He's all over the place. He's in that Ewok event. He's on all the nodes.
That's true.
They better buff his health then, because that guy goes down
Yeah.
Right?
like dropping sandbag off a bridge.
We are due for a little bit of Empire love. We had range and haven't had anybody since, and that's what's been
because
6 months.
Gar Saxon and Superman don't make a cut. They didn't fly.
They do now with their ship. That's a little bit, I don't know. I've never farmed a character for a ship.
Man.
And I really don't want to start with those two. I just find them, hopefully they get some sort of synergy with something, because I don't like having characters in my roster that I don't use for squads and only use for ships. It's a waste. Maybe Lando, because L3 I have a gear 12 and I really like
Lando's
her.
quite good.
And he's useful. But sorry, Empire people, a lot. And there was like a moment about 6 months ago in the guild where I was just like, it's cool. We're all like cruising. Territory Wars is going well. And Lamar, who's in chat, was like, dude, you have to tell people what to farm, because like there is like another gear 11 and a gear 12 Gar every like second day. We have so many Empire fanboys. I'm like, what? Okay. So it's just one of those things. He's just not really, sorry guys, it's not useful anywhere, except his ship is amazing, but nowhere else.
That Gear 11 Gar Saxons will be hanging out with Gear 11 I'm a Gundy in the cantina.
Exactly.
Just worthless characters. Everyone has tried some sort of I'm a Gundy Gar Saxon counter type team, and it just always just like, ugh. Somebody brings in Days, you're just like, oh, this team is terrible.
Why, Low Gray?
They
Why?
have never worked out.
I want to say that these accidental puns you guys keep doing are giving me life right now, because
Like what?
you just said, or you were just talking about, there was, oh gosh, that's not going to fly. That's what you said about farming these people. And immediately T said, well, it is now that they have a ship. And all I could think to myself was, did they do that on purpose? Because that setup was amazing.
We've been practicing actually for the last 7 hours. We've been rehearsing. For the show.
He has. I just, whenever I'm on stream, I just black out, and then I come to you and I ask GoodOl'Maurice, how was I this time?
Awesome. Well, okay, so next thing in the update, they added in, they threw all this stuff out this week that no one saw coming, but they saw it coming, just not this soon, but the arena payout and time settings update went into this update as well. So you can now update your payout hour for arena, and I'm sure for like mine, along with your guys, it was a nightmare coordination effort for about 18 hours. But did you guys take advantage of this, or did you stay where you were?
I have already moved. I moved back an hour to where it is during daylight savings time, just because it makes arena so much easier, and it allows that shipment that's normally between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. It pushes it to 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. and that allows me to hit that shipment, and everything. It works perfect for me.
I stayed put in EST. I stayed put, and I went for the busiest payout. I now have myself and one other person in the EST payout in ships.
Nice.
And I have 3 people in the arena. Like you, I mean, it would be 6 p.m. for my arena payout is pushing it, and it's tough to do. But with only 3 people in my chat now, and I'm in a very good arena, main arena ship chat or shard chat. Very good, very organized. Guys, just kind of, listed if they moved, and they moved. We have a bot, and the guys that run the bot put it in right away, and it's working pretty well. Everyone's being patient. No one's being too crabby about it. But ships is nice. One person to share it with, just 1 and 2 every day. Like it's gonna be great.
Lucky. Yeah, I can imagine.
No one ever. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say, sometimes I tease GoodOl'Maurice about being an old man, and I just picture him on his front porch in a rocking chair, just being like, "Get out of my payout." He's just like, "I'm not moving. Everyone else can move."
I would be lying if I say, well, I looked at my shard chat, and if somebody says I'm gonna move, and it's somebody in my payout, I'd be lying if I said do like a little fist pump, like yes. It's like,
just watch them leave. Bye guys.
So that is a.
Sorry, my chat's good. I don't have any competition, so I'm gonna stay put until I might move if there's like some time where like a cool event comes and I want to like go pretend I'm in Australia for a little bit and get it first. I might do something like tricky like that, but right now it's cool. I'm okay where I'm at.
Yeah, so mine was less about people in my payout than scheduling, because like I said, I work nights. I'm usually 5 p.m. I'm driving to work. So I can't fight on the way to work 3 or 4 days a week. And then the other time it was dinner. I usually cook dinner here. So it's usually right in the middle of dinner. So I actually moved mine to 8 to 9 p.m. and it's working out perfectly for me. 3 days now, 1 every day, even days that I normally wouldn't get number 1 because of scheduling issues. Every single day now. Without fail. So
are you getting more of your free energy too? Because I know that's something we've discussed, I don't know how many times in the past, is that you always miss that noon energy, and your arena's been difficult because of the payout time. Has that helped that as well? Yeah,
so that changing to 8 to 9 made my noon energy now 3 p.m. and I am always awake and not sleeping during the day at 3 p.m. So
nice.
And even if I'm not at 3, it goes till 5, so I have to leave for work at 5, so I better be awake and getting that energy then. So the only bad thing is it moves the 9 p.m. one to midnight, but I'm pretty much up at midnight every night anyway, so it hasn't hurt me. So I'm loving this change. It's made it easier for me. I mean, even at work, things die down by 8 o'clock starting at 6, so I can sit and fight in the arena 2 or 3 battles and get first at work, and I might be sitting at 1 every day now because nobody in my shard apparently has Hawaii time. So, and the other part was for you guys that might not know, I was in Mountain Time and Pacific Time because in Arizona my time doesn't change. But there was no one in my shard past Central Time that fought for number 1, so I pretty much always had it to myself until the Asian time zones.
Wow.
But straight up scheduling worked out well. I love this change.
Very nice. Yeah, it's been nice. It's been very welcome. It's something that we've needed forever because, I mean, especially a game that requires, I mean, to be competitive, that requires as much time as SWGOH does, as far as, like, you know, your free energy throughout the day and having to play at a specific time and stuff. It's nice that they finally let you coordinate that with what makes your life easiest. And I think that's, in the long term, going to be really good for the game as well. So that is, yeah, that was really great to see.
So let me go over these other things that were added this week kind of quickly.
Real quick, though, I wanted to mention the other new quests that they added, because they added all these new quests for the Grand Arena, and they have some really, really good rewards. I've been super impressed with, like, the Grand Arena combat quest. I've already completed the first one because I did my arena battles earlier, and I'm almost done with this one. And this one gives me half of the stuff that I need to slice a mod from 5 to 6 dot. There's, let's see, the Treya one gives the Treya, the Revan, and whatever the the Han Solo one. They'll give gear 12 pieces. I mean,
that's awesome.
That's pretty damn good. I mean, nobody will complain about gear 12 pieces, I wouldn't think.
Well, the second stage of the Grand Arena quest itself offers 5 Zeta mats.
Yeah, 5 Zeta mats and 10 Ship Omega mats.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's one of the prestigious quests. So that's one that you have to have selected. That's the Grand Arena Tactical Genius. So if you clear tier 1 of that, which I did in just a few battles, it's pretty easy to do. If you can clear that second tier, which isn't that difficult either, 20 stuns, 20 dispels on your allies, and gain retribution 10 times. So I would think General Kenobi, all he has to do is his special ability twice, and that should be all the retribution that you need. And boom, 5 Zetas, 10 Ship Omegas. I can't wait to see what the rewards are for tier 3, because, I mean, these are something that I would suggest everyone pay attention to right now before they go into the attack phase of the Grand Arena in this little exhibition that we're in. Just go check these out and try to get some of these, because these rewards are really good, and these are pretty easy. You can probably knock them out within a week or so and get, you know, some really good rewards.
I literally just opened my game and abandoned my Jedi Knight quest. I'm joining one of these right now.
Nice.
Yeah, Anakin can wait.
All right, so that's all I wanted to mention. Good night, Punk. What were the other quickies that you wanted to go over?
All right, so I'm going to go over these kind of quickly because I think that we all kind of want to talk about the big elephant in the room. But
is he there?
He's almost here. I'll tell you. You'll probably see him pop over my shoulder when he gets here. He already said he would. So if anyone knows who the elephant in the room is from previous podcasts, he should be walking through my front door very soon. But the one thing I'm really excited about, and really was really annoying for a long time, Territory Wars, the join button is supposedly now fixed. So it won't always be grayed out where you have to guess and hit the button, that thing. So
the bane of every guild leader's existence.
Yes,
I
exactly.
Can't join. It's been happening for weeks, dude.
This has been months. Why are you telling me now you can't join? You didn't notice last time? So now it's fixed. So there's that.
I'm personally excited because this is the first TW I'm going to get to participate in 3 months. You know.
Yeah. I was That confused me for about 2 seconds. And then it was great. All right, so there was a scheduled update that happened the day after the title update, and that added a few more fun things. And the first thing was that Anakin's ship is in shipments now, so you can get it from Fleet Megapacks or any of those places where shards go before they become farmable. So in the shipment, the crystal shipment store there, and a bunch of things. So look for that in what, 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. So that'll be coming out soon. But the biggest one for me was that, and we harped on Houndstooth dropping on this node 8D hard with Stormtrooper when it happened, because it was literally confusing as hell, because everyone should have Stormtrooper, and everyone should have Stormtrooper, so you're going after Houndstooth and getting something that doesn't help you. And I think that they kind of just showed us why they did it and why we don't know what they're doing, but in the end it works out. So they dropped Django on the same node as Houndstooth, and so now you can get both of those from the 8D hard. And I know some people like Maurice and Wink here almost have it to 7-star. I wasn't farming Houndstooth at all, and this made me start farming Houndstooth, so it actually worked out really well for me. So sorry guys.
And I have Django at 6 stars, 20 out of 100, and the Houndstooth at like 5 out of 100. So it's perfect for me. It's like, oh yeah, like it's just, I feel like the game is just, you know, like I'm the center of the game right now, which is, you know, of course true.
Of course.
It was irritating, but I mean, they could have put Houndstooth or Django Fett in any node. You know, I mean, it just.
It's better that it be. This is better for players that haven't started farming Houndstooth. Like, this instantly becomes a must-farm node by having Django and Houndstooth on it. Yeah. Sucks for all the people that are just finishing Houndstooth, but it is great for everyone else. So.
Yeah, long term, it's a very, very, very good move. Long term, this is a good, like you said, must-farm node for sure.
Which I think you mentioned before, Wink. It might be like a huge, like, hey, dummies, farm the Houndstooth, or you're going to be left in the dust. Like, right? Like, it's just like, you know, this is going to be, I mean, we don't know if it's going to be needed for an original trilogy Millennium Falcon event, but they do stuff like this, right? They're just like, you know, hey, everyone, farm Wicket because he's worth Zetas. And then, okay, lo and behold, if you did that and kind of followed the progression of the game and how they're leading us along, you wouldn't be like me freaking out that you have a 5-star Wicket. You'd be like, okay, I have a 7-star Wicket, and it's not that much of a leap to, you know, farm gear for a couple of weeks and try and, you know, beat this event, even if it's at, you know, low gear and takes 50 or 100 times. But they do that. They give us hints and they lead us along. Are you laughing because I said doo-doo?
Yes, I'm a child. Don't mind me.
I always laugh as well because I caught that immediately.
So the other one they dropped was IG-2000 on Lightside 6E. Pretty funny. We had so many dark side hard node drops. Now we've moved to the light side. So in about 3 months, we'll all be complaining why there's no dark side hard node farms, and then we'll start getting those again. And yeah. Did you guys look at these? Sorry, go ahead.
Be careful what you wish for, right? Like, just like, all right, you guys
it's a
can
pendulum.
Play, so here it
it's
is.
Swinging one way. It's going to flip back the other way. They added a whole bunch of packs, much like they did with the Revan one, all the Ewoks. There's a chance for 5 to 330 shards of one of the Ewoks if you pay the $12.99 crystals to get those shards. So if you don't have Ewoks and they're all low, that is a decent way to do it. But in this one, there's 7 of them instead of 5, so it makes the chances of you getting the ones you really need much lower. So kind of not as good as how I ended up getting Revan myself, but that is available there. The only pack I really wanted to talk about though was there's a new pack that's not really been around for any of the other characters, but it's the Ewok Gear 10 to Gear 11 pack for $4.99 crystals. Have you guys looked at this thing?
Yeah.
For like 3 seconds, said no, sir.
Yeah, I did the math and I was like, no.
This is quite literally the casino pack, because it could be great value or it could be absolutely terrible. And I guess you could say that about everything, so never mind. But this, at first time I looked at it, I'm like, $4.99, that seems awful low. And look at all these awesome pieces of gear. But I originally thought that you got all of them in that range, but it turns out it's just one. So it's not as good as I thought.
You should have known better. Like, come on.
I caught myself pretty quick.
I've seen enough pictures on Discord. Do not buy these to justify them putting that pack in there just this once. I've seen dozens and dozens of screenshots like, don't buy these. Like, it's like somebody showed a picture of 7 gold eyeball salvage. Like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I needed those kind of. They also changed. Okay, this one I'm sure you guys will want to talk about, and it had a lot of traction this week. Bonus protection was changed. Sorry, not changed. Fixed. Bonus protection was fixed this week. So
controversial.
Now it is now based on your current max health and not the max health of your character when the battle starts. So what did you guys think about this when you heard about it? What are your thoughts? What did you hear this week?
I don't think it's a nerf.
Go ahead.
Go for it. Go.
I was like, I'll go ahead and take the position that's going to irritate people. This is the way it should have been from the beginning. It says based on your max health. If your max health gets decreased, then the protection up should be based on the decreased max health, because it is based on your max health. It's not based on your initial starting max health. So, I don't really have an issue with it.
100% agree, man. Nowhere in the abilities does it say based on your initial max health that you begin the match with. Yes, it could be considered a nerf. I don't personally think it's a nerf. Nest was a little, Nest is Nest because that ability was arguably broken. And now she comes back to Earth a little bit. She's not quite as strong as she used to be. And that's fine. She was arguably one of the best characters in the game, top 3 to 5 characters available, and she's still a top 10 character. She's just not quite as good against Revan and maybe Darth Nihilus and General Grievous. I mean, what other characters do health down, like max health down? There's very, very few characters.
Yeah,
it just happens to be the one that's in the current meta does such an ability. That's.
And the truth of the matter is, I have a variety of Revan takedown teams that aren't Revan or Treya. Well, I have 3. And, I had Nest with Rey, which I actually just developed this week, and post-nerf, because I wanted to see if it was still working, because people were telling me it was still working. And then I had the cheese team, which I don't think a lot of people knew about. I knew about it. We didn't actually talk about it at all in the stream because it was nice to have a little bit secret, which is Kira Lead, Nest, and Hermit Yoda. So you put the buff on Nest right away from Hermit Yoda, and then she gets all of those bonuses. And then under Kira Lead, she's regaining protection. So she's regaining protection, she's stacking critical damage, and she's just basically going and going and going. You put all protection on her, no speed, and she just kills everybody through her counters. And really, that's what was killed with this change to her kit. So you can no longer do that. You can I've run that a bunch of times, and you can basically you basically need to put it on auto for about 4 minutes until she builds up enough stacking crit damage, and then you can control the match and take out Yoda in one shot, and take out Revan in one shot, and take out Jolee in 2, that sort of thing. That's not working anymore. So you get to a couple minutes in, and then Revan will do his will mark her and take her down in that second or third mark. So that's really the team that's not working anymore. The teams with Rey, the teams with Nest with Rey, Nest with Maul, Nest with Aura, those, I'm assuming the Maul and the Aura ones are still working. I don't use those teams. I don't have Maul zated, but Rey is fine. Nest will die if you don't get the team down fast enough, but as long as you have your team clocked properly, it's super demanding on speed, very demanding on speed. You know, BB-8, R2, Rey, and Thrawn have to be like so fast to get ahead of Revan and Grandmaster Yoda. It's working fine. So people are saying that's not working anymore. It's working fine. They don't have their mods clocked properly. Period. So
you just burn the community there?
Yeah,
Just
I did, because like if you're telling people that something's not
You guys
working,
played wrong.
you better be responsible for what you're telling people, and I don't know. Some retractions need to happen. Nest is working fine. There's a lot of people who climb with that who don't have Revan, who don't have Traya, and they've that's still working fine.
So something that from chat I found interesting. Ryan Blue Thunder said, it's completely contrary to how they handled the Bosk nerf. Bosk contracts hit weakest, and it only considers the health at the start of the turn, not as the health drops mid-turn during mass assist.
Good point.
And then I also...
T-Money and I... Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say, well, just one quick thing, then you can go. But I was going to say Hera's ability also on her basic... if an enemy was the healthiest enemy, also expose them for 1 turn.
That varies.
That one is a varying one. So they kind of got one on each side there. Like it's kind of...
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Bosk situation, unfortunately, but I mean, it is one of those things that, I mean, your max health can certainly change throughout the battle. I mean, you have max health down, you have max health up. You have characters like R2 who add additional max health as long as they're alive, which means if they die, your max health would decrease. There are same with Revan's leader, or actually technically his unique ability that kind of ties into his leader ability. You have a lot of situations like that with varying max healths, and I kind of think that's the way it should be. If there's a situation like, say, Bosk, for example, if that's not working that way, I would argue that is a bug and is not working accurately.
Well, they've kind of opened up a can of worms, right? Like, this isn't a very feasible suggestion, but like, think of Luminara, right? Luminara heals 45% of her max health, and it's very feasible with Kanan and perhaps Bastila and some other Jedis, Jolie, for instance, for her to have protection up, some sort of protection up, right? So if somebody hits her and reduces her max health, is she going to heal based on her max health? They fix that as well? Because if they fix it for Nest, it's only fair to fix it for all the characters that have any max health, like oriented abilities.
100% agree.
Like, if they're going to fix Nest, and they need to fix it across the board. Like, it can't just be Nest, because then it becomes kind of unfair, because they fixed Nest because it counters the meta, and everyone that has Revan is crying about it, and they fix just one character when it's really the ability and the mechanic itself that needs the overhaul. Like, so I just hope it's consistent. I obviously haven't used Luminara or any other, haven't seen like Daka have protection up or anything like that, but yeah, that's something to consider. So I mean, I hope, I'm crossing my fingers it's fair is all. That's the only negative.
I'm wondering, this wouldn't be that difficult to find out given the number of Treyas around, but Traya has protection up, and it's pretty easy to drop her health considerably. I wonder if that works the same way. I may have to test and find out, because now I'm really curious.
My understanding was that Traya was working and Nest was not, but I was kind of paying attention to that, and I couldn't really figure it out. It was easier to take that last bit of protection, bonus protection off of her, kind of right before she falls when she's got 6 bars of health. But I don't know.
Well, that's something. I mean, I don't use Traya anymore, but if anybody listening uses Traya and she has protection up, just kind of take note when let's say your Scion goes and hits a debuffed enemy. Trey is supposed to get 5% of her max health back, right, in the form of healing for every debuffed enemy you hit. So that's something you could kind of maybe put it on 1 or 2 speed and see if it's working. That's a great example, because she's a meta character, unlike Luminara. Sorry for the terrible example.
Making it meta right here on the podcast.
But...
Cool. So the other thing is, again, like we discussed earlier, December 27th, Chewbacca shall make his triumphant return. You better get him ready because this might be a last chance till March or April. Who knows?
He's good, guys. Like, he kind of came in and kind of got overshadowed by Revan, but he's phenomenal character.
Love
and very,
Chewbacca.
very universal. He's amazing. He puts CLS back on the map. CLS on offense with Han and Chewie.
And he makes Phase 3 so much easier.
Oh,
that's something else I'm going to do with this coming up. I'm going to go ahead and do a Phase 3 video, probably not this week, but the following week. So if you guys are wondering about how to use Chewbacca in Phase 3, I'll have a video on that. But he is awesome for that just because of the anti-daze. He's a life changer. Very, very nice. All right. Ready for this next thing?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All righty.
You don't always have to pay for the best. Sometimes the best things in life are free.
Oh, yes. Free things. That's what we like doing around here. And we're going to give out some gift cards. If you don't know, every month we give out a $30 gift card to our Twitch subs, a $30 gift card to our $5 and up patrons, and a $10 gift card across all patrons. So why don't we just go ahead and dive in with... We'll start with Twitch. How's that sound?
Great. I like it. Let's do it. Who wins?
All right. Let's see. I am plugging in. I had to download the new spreadsheet, and the winner is going to be Elusive One.
Elusive One. Very nice. Thank you for your... What's up?
Your subscription.
We appreciate you.
Indeed. Make sure you hit me up, and I will get you your $30 gift card to your platform of choice. And as for the Patreon gift cards, we'll go ahead and give away the big one. We'll go ahead and give away the $35.
Did you just add $5?
No.
If you keep Wink talking, if you keep him talking long enough, it'll be a $100 gift card.
Please, no. I don't have that kind of money. Come on. No, the $30 gift card is going to go to...
Who dis?
It looks like In a Pawn.
In a Pawn?
Yes.
How is that spelled?
In a Pawn.
All right. Well, In a Pawn. Congratulations.
Indeed. Congratulations. Hit us up and we will get you your gift card.
Must be one of our newer Patreons. I don't recognize that name.
Been around for a while, I do believe.
In a Pawn. $10. What you got?
And the $10 gift card is going to go to Z-Splash.
Hey, I know that guy. Guild leader of our very own Future of the Order. So, congrats, Z-Splash.
Congratulations. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for the support. We love you all and greatly appreciate it. And we love giving out free stuff. And you may or may not be aware that we have some other free stuff to give away that we haven't given away in a little while. We do still have that stuff. Our good friends over at Blue Designs, they do let us give away things. And this is going to be a big month. We have 3 giveaways that we are going to do this month. So make sure that you stay up to date with us on Twitter and in our Discord. And We're not sure what we're gonna do yet. We're gonna do something though.
It'll probably involve
it on
more
those
than
questions.
guessing random numbers in chat. We'll
It
go with that.
Probably will. We're gonna try to come up with something a little bit sophisticated, maybe some sort of competition or something on some of these. So, yeah, make sure you guys are paying attention and be looking for your way to win. You know, a free, lovely microphone or headphones or whatever else you may need. Well, it's time for everyone's favorite segment of the week.
Since everyone loves a good poll, let's dance through the results and see what you thought this week.
Everybody's
It's
favorite drop.
Poll time.
All right, so
God.
I put out a poll this week, labeled it "Isn't It Grand?" because we are in the foils of the Grand Arena. So all the poll questions are based around Grand Arena. So let's just jump right into it. Question 1, kind of a heat index. Let's find out, you know, a lot of people were kind of cold on this when it was announced. They weren't sure they were excited for more PvP content, but it is here. It's in the game. So I kind of wanted to ask on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I'm not excited, 10 being I'm the biggest fanboy ever. Where were people at for their excitement for the Grand Arena? So first off, before I read off what the community thought for this, where are your guys' excitement?
10. I'm at a 10. Maybe an 11. I don't know. I'm really excited about this game mode.
T-Money, Maurice, what do you got?
I'm with you. We're a big Territory Wars guild. We put a lot of time and effort into our defensive and offensive strategies, and it's really cool to kind of see everybody kind of go off on their own and create their own little microcosm of Territory Wars, and I get to do the same and not worry about you know, just worry about my roster, and it's a lot of pressure, you know, to do well independently, because you don't have anybody to depend on but yourself. But I'm really excited about it. Yeah, definitely turning the volume to 11 on this one.
9. I put 9. you never want to go like super extreme to either level. I don't know. I put 9. I guess I'm a little concerned that I'm gonna miss one here and there, and it's gonna affect my, you know, if I win 2 in a row and then, you know, I have to work or something comes up and I miss it, and then I go 2-1 and I miss out on a good start. That's. But we'll see. It's totally self-paced. You got 24 hours to fight 7 battles. It's not like TW. You have to log in to see if we, you know, like you beat your Revan team, and then you back out. You log in
And you
constantly
wait
for the next, you know, every 20 minutes to see if we've gotten through the Revan zone, and you know, so you won't have to constantly check. You can sit down and actually play it at your own pace. I mean, if you have an hour or two, just relax. You can play the whole thing all at once, get it all done, and that's. I'm pretty pumped. I'm excited.
Cool. Good night, Punk.
I myself am an 8 probably. I'm not a huge Territory Wars fan just because of my schedule with work and everything else and the amount of time it takes for Territory Wars, but I am excited, like Maurice said, because it's more self-paced, and I think I said that when it first came out with being one-on-one, is the fact that you have 24 hours to attack in your own time frame, and you're not waiting for things to open and needing to be around when those things open. I think that's why I might enjoy it a little more. If I'm doing this poll today after seeing how it's kind of set up and everything, my setting 6 good defense teams and then having good offense teams as well, I'm going to really have to scour my roster to figure out who I want to gear to make this a thing that gives me the best on both sides, because right now I'm not feeling it for both sides. So I'd say 8.
That's no good.
And as far as the whole community goes, 20% of people out of 150 people said an 8, with the second highest being a 9, the third highest being a 10, then it drops down to 7, and the next after a 7 is actually a 1. So between 5, 4, 3, and 2, 1 takes the cake there. So you're either really excited about it or really not. But only 14 votes for the 1. There are those people that just don't like PvP in general, so those are probably the people that aren't excited for it, waiting for another raid or something of that sort. But yeah, I think for the most part, those big bars are up at the top between 8 and 10. So general excitement in the community. The second question, and I will ask you guys again and then read the answers. But looking at your first season 0 opponent, do you feel like the first taste of matchmaking will be fair to all players? The answers I gave were yes, me and my opponent are pretty similar in GP and teams available. Maybe me and my opponents are similar in GP, but I or they have a clear advantage. And no, me and my opponent are not similar and shouldn't be match made. So where do you guys fall on that?
I think this is really interesting because my first opponent, so the first one that got canceled out, we don't know who our opponent's going to be in the second one, but the initial one, I looked at their GP, it's damn near the exact same. I mean, it's so freaking close, but it's interesting how rosters of the same galactic power can look so much different. I actually shot the guy a message and he was kind of like, I guess he's more of a raid player or something like that. Not big on PvP, he said. And I could kind of tell that by looking at the roster. You know, some people kind of farm what they want to farm, and that's that. Others, you know.
So you were talking trash. You were talking a little trash.
I actually wasn't. I was just, you know, kind of saying, hey, but
yeah, you were throwing some little undercover trash talk.
I was gonna wait until I destroyed him, then I was gonna talk trash.
Your raid teams look great.
Yeah. So, and the other thing that was like, this dude had a 5-star Treya, like a 6-star Scion that was like gear 7, and you know, I have those characters completely maxed. I have Darth Revan. That person did not have Darth Revan. Roster wise, as far as for PvP, my roster was significantly better by a pretty wide margin, in my opinion. I didn't dig through his mods to compare mods at all, but there's a pretty big difference there, and you know, I think that's one thing that's really going to shape.
Sorry.
Yeah, shape how people do is what characters you actually have, because you know, 3.8 million GP is not the same as 3.8 million GP. What about you guys?
I was matched up just like you. GP was almost identical. You can't really expect the developers to make some super sophisticated algorithm that's going to take you're not going to get matched up with the same GP, the same number of 10 plus speed mods, the same meta characters. You can't expect that. Like if you're matched up against somebody with the same GP, that's really all they can do. So I mean, like, it's really on you. What you focused on. And I'm not saying one way is better than the other, but in my opinion, mods are going to win Grand Arena, right? So in these mods now, in a past update, it might have been the Title 13 update, they gave all the mods, all the different colors, different GPs. And this is a reason why, like if my 4 million GP roster, I have less gear 12 characters perhaps, but I have all gold mods versus your roster of all gear 10 characters, I'm probably going to punish you. Like it's just the way it's going to be. Yeah. And just this is an eye opener, I guess, to some maybe more of the collector type players. And again, there's nothing about criticizing anyone. It's just like if you you just like to collect the characters and you just like to play casually. If you want to be competitive in this, you need to build your GP through mods, not gear 12ing every character.
Yeah,
because you're not going to use them all. Like I had to face 7 defense. I had to play 7 defenses. That's a lot of defenses, yes, but by no means am I using all of my characters. Like I'm not using Plo Koon and Mob Enforcer and Ugnaught. Like they're just hanging out. So why have them, purple gear at all? Like, just leave them unlocked almost. Like, just, you can kind of trim fat, take the mods off your characters not using, that type of thing. Like, I've got probably 20 characters I took and I'm a hoarder. It was near impossible for me to clear out 100, spots in my mod inventory to do so. But
and there's a clear break between like right at 4 million GP where you have to put another squad on. So I will personally be avoiding that for as long as possible, taking mods off and selling them and trying to keep under that radar, because once you jump up a little, it's a whole different ball game. I mean, maybe that's silly. I mean, for me it was the same thing. I was matched up with someone with very similar GP, similar squads, but my mods were just, I think I had, triple, quadruple the number of mods he has. And so I'm going to be able to go in and fight his, my boss is 268 and his boss is, has, 30, 40 speed on it. And it's, it's just, it's going to be challenging. And I think there's enough, hopefully over time, it'll kind of even out for the most part, that everybody will get to play someone who has a similar roster as they do, because not everyone's as crazy as we are, right? Farming mods at all hours of the night and that sort of thing. But I agree with GoodOl'Maurice. That's going to make all the difference in the world is mods. And it's not, I realized that I was quite light on mods and went from 135 to almost 200 in the last month and a half. I have invested crystals in that, but for free to play, maybe it's 3 months of quite like focused farming on mods that can get you a significant increase. So it's definitely doable between slicing and continuing to farm when you run out of things to slice.
So I'm gonna read off the answers, and then I got something that I want to bring up about what came up from this question that I want people's opinion on. But the 57.7% of people said the maybe for the similar GP, but one of us has the clear advantage. 32% said yes, we are pretty similar in GP and teams. So only 10% said no, it was a bad matchup. So overall, it's a pretty good matchup as far as the matchmaking by GP goes. But the question, the thing I had that popped into my mind from what you guys were saying was this GP inflation thing. They've put such things in this game that make one side more favorable and another side more favorable, right? So in territory battles, to get the highest out of your guild for stars, you need that GP to get to the highest GP or the highest stars on that event. Now, some people don't do that like to play PvP or territory wars and try to pull down their GP to get different matchups. So now you got two sides, because you can either strive for PvE and doing the best you can there, or you can strive to stay competitive in PvE in a way where you want to, right? So if you're a guild, does that mean, what do you guys think? Because you can either have a guild focused on PvE now or a PvP, because it's, as a guild leader myself, I want those 45 stars. I want those 48 stars. If I see people that aren't inflating GP to continue to work towards the end game of those things, it's kind of annoying to me, to be honest, because I want to beat those things, just like I want to beat the raid, but I still want to be good in territory wars, right? And I still want to be good in, Grand Arena.
You can do both, though. I mean, it's
not the way that is talked about here with pulling out the GP. If you're not getting it,
they're making it more difficult.
Exactly. You have to pick or choose one side or the other. And if you're a guild that is doing both, you're going to have to force one person to either not gear up what they want or, gear them up to get in territory battles. You're going to have to pick a side eventually.
There's a significant amount of GP that does come from mods, and you can gain a lot or remove a lot by taking off mods. And if you really want to min-max as far as removing all mods from characters that you won't use in the Grand Arena, then that is a possibility. But at the same time, you still, like you say, you want to maximize for territory battles. Well, that kind of caters more towards also focusing on gear 12ing characters and not just trying to take everybody to gear 10 or whatever. Because
didn't you just take everyone to gear 7 last week?
Yeah. I'm not sure what that matters. I mean, getting characters to gear 12 or gear 11 from lower gear levels makes a significant difference in your galactic power. So if you're focusing on that, that is also giving you more teams that are going to be good for Grand Arena, as well as increasing your galactic power.
Well, there's not a right or wrong way to play, right? I didn't mean to get you all upset.
Oh, no. I get riled up about all kinds of things.
Upset
I'm not mad. I'm just think that it's...
if you prefer PvP or if you prefer PvE, like, there's not a right or wrong way to play. You just have to find the guild that meets, that plays the same way you do, I guess. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. But they do kind of... if you're a PvE oriented guild, that means you have good raid teams, and if you're good at the raid, you're getting gear 12 plus pieces, you're getting the more mod salvage, you're getting all sorts of goodies, more guild store stuff. So I mean that does kind of, you put the gear 12 plus gear on your arena characters, it does kind of go back and forth. The people that really excel at the raids are really going to excel at Grand Arena, and this is something we were concerned with months and months ago when the Sith raid first came out, how top heavy it was. I mean, the people that really excel at the raid, at the Sith raid exclusively, I mean, they're going to have better characters. I mean, if you have gear 12 plus, that's 12 extra speed per character. That can make up for the mods that you might have been neglecting because you don't really care about PvP. It's I don't know. I feel it's fairly balanced, I guess, in a way.
I think my main point is, sorry, this might influence what you say, but I think my main point is, my guild's been around since guilds came out, right? And granted, there's been some turnover, but I'd say about 50% are people that have been there since the very beginning. I don't want there ever to be a point where people leave just because they are one focused over the other. Like, I think that you should be able, as a guild, to excel in both without having to sacrifice for one side or the other. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm in the same guild, like the same type. Like, over half of our roster was there when we completed the heroic tank raid for the first time, and we got people in there we completed the first Rancor with the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, well, the very, very low turnover guild I'm in as well. It's just, I don't know. I'm trying to like appeal to the wide community here, I guess. I'm not sure.
And it's I think this is, your point around, maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to kind of, I don't want to say divide the community in a negative way, but to kind of like parcel out the community a little bit so that it's not frustrating to people who just really enjoy raids and territory battles, because there are lots of people who just super dig PvE game modes. And then also Territory Wars, a Galactic Arena, and raids, because the overlap there is complete. The very best players in raids who are at the very top of that raid leaderboard, and we've got some ridiculous scores in our guild, are also at the top of the Territory Wars scoreboard, because they've got beautiful Night Sisters, beautiful Ray teams, beautiful bounty hunters, etc. So for me as a guild leader, I made a very conscious decision to say, like, we don't care about territory battles. Like, if it takes us another month or a month and a half to get those 45 stars, that's the way it's going to be. I am not going to tell people to farm Chirrut and Baze, which we kind of asked because CLS was such a good defensive team at one point, so that naturally happened. But there's no like requested, encouraged farms or anything. Like, we're a very team-oriented guild, so we love to, like, oh, look at this great team that we can build with Vandor, Chewie, and L3, and then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, we've got like 10 or 15 of them. It just happens organically. But yeah, I made a conscious decision, like, no, we're not leveling our tunes, no, we're not gearing them And there's and I think people in Grand Arena who have done that and who are asked to do that are they're going to have to hustle. I think you can be good at both game modes, but you have to have an extra hustle with your mods, with your with your strategic characters, because if you have inflated GP, I don't want to call it inflated GP, if you have increased your GP to conquer the territory battles, you're going to be matched with people who might have the same usable teams as you do, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the only thing that'll really affect you is, artificially, increasing your galactic power by maybe gearing characters that would really be worthless. Because, I mean, if you're like a raid player, if you're a PvE player in general and working on these difficult teams that you need for territory battle and the raids and such, those teams are all still going to have so much usability in the Grand Arena. So it's not like you're going to be at a disadvantage anyway.
Agreed.
We sit and complain, and we're not maybe not complain, but we critique and we debate back and forth. But really, at the end of the day, the people that develop this game, and it's in the way money's made and just the whole farming strategy, they're just all smarter than us. You know what I mean? Like, if you really, they know exactly what they're doing. They're pulling us this way, pulling us that way, pulling us this way, so we all end up in the middle. Never know what to do. I mean, like this C-3PO event's going to come. Everyone's going to panic and farm it. Then they're going to give us something else. Everyone's going to panic and farm it. And then they're going to be like, hey, you need the bounty hunter ships now. And you're just like, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I certainly get led around by my nose. I have no, I'm not in any sort of fantasy world about that.
Yeah.
All right, so next question was, how do you feel about Grand Arena being a week-long event? The answers were too long, just right, or not long enough. How about you guys?
It's good.
Do you guys know how the schedule is going to work? I'm sorry, I don't know that. How it's going to fit in with TW and TB?
That's the one thing I'm curious about, because they did say due to this, it's going to delay territory war. If this is, something that just only happens when there's not a TB or TW going on, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. Like, I would hope that this would be something that could go along with those, because it is something that isn't guild related. It's individual. It's, you can participate in it whenever you have time. And, it doesn't require that much time, really.
I would really hope that Grand Arena runs the same time as territory battles. That would be my hope. Because they're both a week long. Run them at the same time. One of them is a guild event and the other is a personal event. I think that would be the best way to do it. You're not pushing back rewards for any of these events. Granted, you're throwing another event in the same time slot, so you're putting more time into the game at that point. But we're getting into a point in this game where anything that gets added, unless they take something away, it's always going to go on top of something. You know what I mean? So I don't feel that for a tournament type of event like this is, where you fight 3 different people, the time frame is perfect because of just how long that could be. I mean, if it's 8 people in a group, you're not playing all 8. So you're only playing 4. If you played all 8, it would be 2 weeks long. You're playing 4. It's only a week. That's not so bad. Throw it next to a territory battle. I think that would be fine.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And my guild, because we're so focused on territory wars, we start getting into mischief on territory battle week. Like, it's like day 2 and someone's going off the rails and we've got this like weird plan to do something and like people are fighting and like, oh, territory battle week, we're just constantly, we need a thing to do because we need some busy work. So this is awesome, perfect busy work for us.
And the community seems to be pretty much in step with us. 55% said just right. There was 43% of people that said it was too long, and then that remaining couple of percent said it was not long enough.
So the next question is, are you excited for the game? Get ready, Maurice. Are you excited for the gimmick versions of the event they alluded to in the update post? Example, 3-character squads.
No.
I still don't understand why you're super fussy about this.
Because I've been spending 2.5 years optimizing my team of 5 that is required in every other.
So nerdy when you say that, though.
Well, I mean, in every single game mode, this game has ever offered teams of 5. I have 5 First Order developed. I'll have 5 Ewoks developed. You know, with the exception of the Scoundrels and the Rebels, all my factions, they're 5 characters heavy. Like, my teams are optimized for TW, for the raids. I built them from scratch for the last 2 years, ever since mod came now. I'm working on building teams, leaving them as is, and now I have to break them up, and you have to completely remod teams. Like your Imperial Trooper team is the example we used the other night on our show. Your 5 Imperial Troopers, there is 0 chance that team will be as effective with just 3 characters.
But you're fighting 3 characters.
But there are
it doesn't have to be as effective.
There's a ton of teams that could be really useful as 3-character squads as well. I mean, you have the Triumvirate. You know, you could have like some sort of resistance squad, like a Finn Poe resistance trooper, maybe Grandmaster.
That's going to be dynamite. Like, if you guys have kind of neglected your Poe, you need to flip the script and start making Poe a top priority in terms of speed. Fair. Like because the faster your Poe is, especially in that 3 versus 3 scenario, the faster your Poe is, the more teams you can beat with it. You know, because you could perhaps even beat a Triumvirate with your Poe if your Poe's faster than the Scion. You got a solid chance to take out the arguably on paper the best 3 versus 3 team there is in the Sith Triumvirate. So
that's a really good
or bust. Yes, that is correct.
Bugs.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there are definitely going to be options there, but I'm excited to see what that brings because it seems like they kind of have a wide open, you know, their minds kind of open to various ideas. So we'll see.
Did you just have like a year anniversary thing happen? Something in chat?
Yeah, we've been live streaming on Twitch for right at a year now.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Does not seem like it's been that long.
So that also means the 1-year anniversary of when we got kicked off of YouTube. So
Aww.
No idea what he's talking about.
As far as the community goes for the answers to this question, 60% of people said yes, they are excited. 33% said they'll wait to announce whether they are excited or not, and then another 9% said that they are not excited for it. So 9% are with you there, Maurice.
Those are my people.
Your people are there representing in red. So the next question is, I feel I have a strong enough roster to field blank. The answers are both strong defense and offense. Strong defense only, strong offense only, or neither. And yeah, I have a feeling you guys are gonna be on the both side. Am I wrong?
You're correct. And that's kind of where the community's at. The community was at 54% on strong defense and offense. Quarter of people were strong defense only. 17% strong offense only, and 4% said neither. Maurice and TMoney, where are y'all at?
Well, I answered both, and 54% of the people that took this poll are awfully arrogant for never playing this game mode. So I was one of those people. I think I have enough for both, but really, we'll see. I didn't get a chance to play, and my opponent didn't fight any of my teams either today. In that brief 7.5 minutes that Grand Arena was up. So I hope both.
Yeah, I'm super snoopy. Well, 2 things. I'm super snoopy, so I look at rosters all the time. I went and looked at, couple dozen when in the last couple of days, just to see how many mods people have compared to me, how many geared characters they have compared to me, because I can compare myself to the guild, but I'm in a guild I'm at the bottom of my GP roster. I have 3.6 million GP, and I'm like third or fourth to the bottom. So kind of going around and seeing how I compare to other people, and I think that I cannot place 6 strong defense and still have 6 very reliable offensive teams to place, but I think that everybody's kind of in the same boat. We're all worried like, oh no, I'm gonna have to place like an Admiral Akbar lead or a Rex or something on defense. Everybody's gonna have to do that. No one's gonna have like a magical extra CLS squad to put down when they're at 3.6 million GP. We're all in the same boat, and that's kind of the message that I've had with this game mode when people are kind of freaking out. It's like we're all in the same boat. Just farm mods and get your characters working and well modded and geared. So.
How dare somebody use Admiral Akbar against me? How dare them? Bring on the Akbar.
I hope somebody gets a hold.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Well, it's one of those strategies.
Especially with Bistan.
Oh,
yeah.
So I don't know whether to be offended or feel loved on the next question. So the next question I asked, who would you most like to be matched up against in the show tonight in Grand Arena? Obviously the answers were TMoney, GoodOl'Maurice, Windkiller Inc., and Goodnight Punk. And the overwhelming majority chose me at 50.3%. So I don't know if that's because, hey, me and Punk, we're on the same level. We could do this. That'd be fun. Or, hey, I could squash Punk. That's why I choose him. I don't know. But 50% for me. So there it is.
I would love to know the reasons.
I have a feeling in my head, and people will tell me all week that I really want to squash you. So that's coming this week, but whatever.
They must forget that you have Ewoks.
Duh. I mean, come on, people. Try to squash these Ewoks. You don't even know. But as far as the other ones go, the next person that people want to fight is TMoney at 23%.
Nice.
Then you got Wink at 16%, and then
GoodOl'Maurice
at the 10%. So they're afraid of you, Maurice. You should feel
no. They just don't know who the hell GoodOl'Maurice is.
Like, what is a GoodOl'Maurice? No, pretty funny.
I would love to face GoodOl'Maurice just to kind of let him check that off his bucket list and give him something to talk about for the next few years,
If we don't have sandbox mode, please match these two
There's
up.
no question he would kick my butt, but I mean,
well, you've been talking trash about that trivia from the last time we were on this show for 3 months now. You're like, hey, remember that night in trivia?
That's not true though, because I forget
I
stuff, and then you keep reminding me that I just like demolished you and Wink.
Oh, well, I never said
and
demolished.
True.
No, it was.
Yeah.
I just put you both over my knee.
It was painful.
That's the only reason I'm here. We're doing.
So, if any of us 4 face each other in one of these Grand Arena battles, we have to do a live stream, right?
Just cut your GP down to 3.4, and me and you are down to go.
I don't know if I can do that. I don't know, that'd be tough. I'd have an inventory of about 10 characters with mods.
You'd be fighting me with no mods, and then it would be a distorted fight. I would brag about it forever. I didn't have mods on. Oh, excuses.
Who needs those mod things?
All right, Wink. Why don't you take us home with this last segment there? Because we've managed to talk for 2 hours about random things and not the main thing that we wanted to talk about.
So are we going to skip the main thing we wanted to talk about?
Well, then we should probably ask our guests, because we're 2 hours and 15 minutes in, and I don't know if they want to spend another 30 minutes talking about this.
Good question.
I'm good. I just feel like we're kind of responsible for it going on this long. Both of us are long. You have two sets of co-hosts here on one show.
It's always this way. It's good.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
Say.
I think we just both maybe have crushes on you guys, so it's just we'll go for another. Well, we're fine. We're good.
I'm red not because of the heat in this room, but because of that comment.
I'm good to go. Carry on.
All right, let's do it then.
All right, we're going to go ahead and talk about some Grand Arena, and that will be our... I apparently didn't set this one up, did I?
So we will be skipping this segment.
You want to do it?
Apparently. That did not play, did it? That's disappointing.
How are you going to be a big boy in Grand Arena?
And ooh, hey, that's
beat
pretty
me.
Good.
Whoa, there we go.
Wow. Damn. Well, all right, man. I think that was the intro we needed. We'll just leave that in. All right, let's get into it. That was pretty good, by the way. I'm gonna have to cut that and save
I'm
that.
blushing. This is the second time I've blushed in the show. The first one was that like ridiculous rant I went on a little while ago. But all right, let's go.
Yeah, it happens. Yes, sultry team money drop. That's gonna be a thing. All right, so the Grand Arena unlocks at level 85 if you were unaware.
Huh.
As far as matchmaking, it is designed to put you up, as we were just discussing, against similar galactic power. It's, like I said, mine was damn near the same galactic power. I mean, it does seem to be really impressive at how well it syncs people up that are some similar galactic power. It's designed so that you won't replay the same player twice. At some point, there will probably be overlap, but for the most part, you shouldn't ever replay the same 8 people. And whenever I say 8 people, that is because you are in groups of 8, and it is essentially a tournament, from my understanding. So you will basically have 3 battles. You will have a join phase. You will have a set defense, and then an attack phase. And that is against one opponent. Then your second opponent, you will set a defense attack. Third opponent, set a defense and attack. It is very territory war-like in that there is the little snapshot taken of everyone's rosters before. So over those 7 days, any changes to your roster that you make will not impact the specific Grand Arena battle event that you have going on at that time. But sounds pretty exciting. What do you guys think about the layout of the thing?
I like it. This is the only mode in the entire game that allows you to test things. Like if you test out teams in territory wars, you're doing so, and if you fail, you could really hurt the chances of winning for 49 other people in your guild. Like this is the ultimate. This is what Galactic War used to be for the newer players. Like Galactic War used to be hard. Like if you built a new team, you would just go up to node 9 or whatever your GP was. It was weird how it did it, but mine was node 9. I'd save my new team for node 9 just to test it out because that was the hardest opponent I'd face in Galactic War. So this is like if you're building a team, we do all these theory craftings on all of our various shows. Anybody that does YouTube or Twitch spends a significant time theory crafting, and it's nice to have a mode where you can put this theory crafting to test. And we haven't had an opportunity to do that in a long, long time. So I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I agree. I love territory
three times
wars.
a week.
Yeah. 3 times a week. Yeah. I love territory wars. I love, sometimes I'll fall in arena just to be able to fight a diversity of teams because it's so difficult to like you're fighting Reventrea if you're at the top of arena, and that doesn't do your guild a heck of a lot of good when you're facing, first order bounty hunters, night sisters, etc. And territory wars. So I'll fall to be able to practice against them. And now there's just like it's like a week long of practice before we actually get into our territory war proper with the guild. So that's, I look at it like that. I also, I'm feeling pressure because I'm very competitive. I sometimes trash talk, and now I don't have my guild to, hide behind. It's, it is a very individual kind of moment in the game, and I do like how they've just said, we're gonna find out who the best player is in the galaxy, period. And it's kind of cool. Like, who is that? Are they in one of these big guilds? Is it someone hiding in a smaller guild somewhere? It's I find it very interesting. Yeah.
It's about to be poaching season, boy. It's about to get poach time.
That's what
Wabbit season.
That's what Angel said. He's like, ooh, this is like awesome recruiting. Like, no. Naughty.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take an entirely different roster management than we have ever seen in the game. I mean, Territory War is fairly involved, but due to the number of people, it's pretty easy to, just kind of just not really care too much, or just, go all out on offense or all out on defense, or one or the other. Like, you kind of have a lot of options, but you really have to be balanced in this thing if you're intending to win and not just sandbag it. You need to be balanced. You need to know your teams. You need to have synergy teams that work well together, especially on defense, because synergy does well on defense. Offense, you can make unsynergetic stuff work really well together, much better. So more of your kind of slapped together teams are probably going to be your better offense teams, just, in general.
I had something I thought of while I was away from the computer and couldn't interrupt you like I always do. But this section, Grand Arena, was marketed as who's the best player in the game. And I feel as though it has left itself open to people claiming that it's not a true test. And the only reason I say that is because you have an 8-person group. You only fight 4 people from that group. So if you win it and you will go on later and there's a leaderboard and you're at the top of it, if you win that and that person right below you was in your group but did not fight you, you didn't beat them, they didn't beat you, they will claim that they only won because they didn't fight you. So I thought that was kind of weird how they left a little bit of wiggle room for people to wiggle themselves into saying, I should be it's kind of like the national championship in football. You didn't let me in the playoffs, so I'm claiming the national championship.
Damn it, we won our way into the playoffs. Boomer sooner.
I'm just saying.
I wonder if they'll do like a finals, because it's like season 0 right now, and then season 1, 2, etc. I wonder if at some point they will, because how else will they assess who because they've kind of pitched this a bunch of times, like, we will know who how are you going to know that if you're not going to do like a finals?
That was what they said in the Road Ahead post, was that this would be a step towards figuring that out. So, I mean, I think at some point we will maybe see like a Grand Arena leaderboard, similar to the way that we have for guilds and raids and such. There will be maybe a leaderboard for Grand Arena as far as based on how well you do, and because we're about to go over the point breakdowns and it is ridiculous. And then, we'll have that. There may be some other type of tournaments. Maybe if you win X number of Grand Arenas, you will get put into a specific tier that has better rewards than if you had lost all of your Grand Arena events or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of different ways they could go and take this and implement it into a wider variety of, just a different type of game mode, I guess, in a way. I think it's a stepping stone towards something bigger in the future, which I think is pretty exciting.
Yeah. That's the first time it's occurred to me, because you can't, like, PvP is only one aspect of this game. Like, I have players who are throwing up over 40 million in the Sith raid right now. Like, that's gotta count to, like,
yeah, for
quote
sure.
unquote best player in the game, So there's like, yeah, it's multifaceted, like we've been talking about. There's raids, there's TB, there's TW, blah blah blah. So yeah, that's neat. It's a neat idea.
Cool. All right, so as we get into the points of these things, we kind of know how points work on Territory War, but this is completely different. This is pretty extreme. Like, there's a lot to think about here, especially if you're really trying to min-max, and if they ever start using points as a ranking system, it's going to be really interesting. But I'm just going to read off the... in the show notes, you'll be able to find the link to this forum post, but there's the post that has a breakdown of all of the points that you can acquire. Win a battle on first attempt, 45. Win a battle on second attempt, 25. Win a battle after 2 attempts, 15. Finish with the character with full health, you get a point. That's each character with full health. Each character with full protection is 1 point. Each character survived the match, 1 point. An empty slot is worth 4 points. Setting a defense is 90. Conquering a territory is 120. And a conquer per slot is 30. But the conquer per slot only counts if you conquer the territory. So once you conquer a territory, you get bonuses for that as well. The thing that I thought was really interesting is the empty slot. So basically, if you have an empty slot, you get the points for full health, full protection, survive the match, plus they throw you a bonus point for leaving a spot empty. So, I mean, there's a huge range of point outcomes that you can have with this that should do a pretty good job at not having ties. What do you guys think about this? This point breakdown.
It's crazy. For one, it's completely impossible to find in the game mode. So you have to like go all the way into the territory, and you click on the territory, and there's an eye, and and that's where they all are. And then you bring them up, and I just sat and stared at them forever. So you're looking at it's so many protection regeneration squads are fantastic on defense, and there's some that are great on offense. Imperial Troopers are on offensive team, but we're gonna have to think about, like, are we gonna pull some of these protection regain teams onto offense, like Kira, and like learn how to use them on offense, or the bounty hunters, crew, like these health and protection regeneration to take advantage of those, the extra 2, 3, 5 points that you're going to get if you finish with full protection on a team. So there's a whole mess of strategy involved. So they've said, we're not giving bonuses in this game mode because we really want to know who the best players are, but that's essentially bonuses, right? Like I think they're probably, that word is in there, like bonus for, having a team with protection regeneration. So yeah,
that's a good point.
So that's kind of where I'm at. GoodOl'Maurice and I were chatting last night or the night before, and just wrote down, like Zeta Jin, Zeta Krennic, Kira, Zeta Thrawn, Veers, Cody, there's all these leaderships with protection recovery, and those are going to be, we're going to have to think about those a lot, and tunes that can support the whole cast to get protection recovery.
100%.
Those that paid $850 for Director Krennic, they've been waiting for this day.
That's a good point. I mean, this has made me rethink completely about the way I even look at my roster, because I got all these characters, and like, I have good characters that I just don't have a ton of use for. And like you were talking about, Jin, I've been considering zating her leader ability just for the light side territory battle phase 6. I've never beat all of the waves in that thing, so I'm like, that would be useful there. But now we get to this grand arena, and I'm kind of like, that would be unbelievably useful for one, she's good on offense. She's not a character that you want to use on defense anyway. It's just the drastic amount of turn meter swapping that she has. The variability on defense. You're better off on offense. That way you can maximize what she does well. And that Zeta ability, gives you a decent chance at getting those bonus points, especially paired with some of the characters that she has. I think Cassian has a Zeta ability also that restores protection or something. So there's a lot of potential with some of these more unused teams. And it's like, I have almost 6 Zeta saved up, and I'm trying to figure out where to spend them because it's like, I want to do Mother Townsend lead because that's better for Arena. I've already had a Saj lead, but Mother Townsend's better. And I'm looking at all these other characters that I'm like, that would be a great Zeta for Arena. And God, it really has me want to start spending stuff like crazy.
Don't do it.
Is pretty good.
C-3PO. C-3PO.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait for him. And once we see his kit, then you can go nuts. But I'm with you, man. Like, I spend random Zetas like crazy for teams that I probably shouldn't. Hera's not one of them, so all of you out there making that joke, stop it. But, like, I love leadership Zetas. If it can bring a team together, I am going to do it, most likely. And whether that's for low-level things like... Well, I can't think of any low-level things. Events. There's certain events where you need low-level, or if you have lower levels and haven't geared those guys up yet, those can help there. But if I can make, like I've said earlier in the show and on this podcast all the time, if I can make a synergy come together by adding a Zeta to a leadership, I am totally okay with that. Especially if those guys get enough gear, like a gear 10 or even gear 11, where they are serviceable for certain things like Territory Wars or or Grand Arena. I got to get used to saying that, but if I can do that, I will definitely do it. And Jin is one that I actually did on my alt account last Territory Battle, and I did not quite get to 6 out of 6, but I did get 5 out of 6 on a battle that was usually 3 out of 6 or 4 out of 6. So it can help. Once I get more gear on those guys, it'll definitely be the end of that, because I think I died from the dude that heals himself all the time and the dude that just annihilates, it calls in the assists all the time that end up healing people. It just was bad. So Jin is definitely a good one to think about as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Maurice, you have any that you're kind of thinking about doing?
Potentially. We'll see about this Ewok event, how tough it is. So, I mean, if I have to do Chirpa, I'm all in on the Ewoks. I'm in there. So,
that's a good point. Ewoks, they have a lot of health gain. So, I mean, they could be another really good team on offense just because, I mean, it should be pretty easy. At least make them finish at full health, which would, obviously get you the bonus, 5 points if everyone survives. Plus, revivers, Visas, Ewok Elder, and Daka, I think are going to become really valuable because if you lose someone, they can bring them back and get you those additional points.
Well, Kira is going to be dynamite on offense. Oh, God,
yes.
With that protection. I mean, we have these characters that maybe everyone doesn't quite have developed, but you put a Zeta on Zalbar. I mean, that's if you have a lot of dots. I mean, you're talking 100% protection regen when him and Mission start their turn. You've got this new Ordo character. He triple taps on his basic. If he triple taps 3 times under Kira lead, he's going to get 30% protection back. But the scoundrels are going to be very, very good for Grand Arena. You see a lot at the higher levels. You see a lot of people putting them on defense. With this point system, Kira is going to be automatic on offense. So potentially, big. Every you could win with full health and full protection on most of your characters. So that's something. If you guys haven't started farming Kira, you don't need a Zeta. You don't even need a Zeta. That is somebody you should really at least get to gear 11. That gear 11 to gear 12 crunch is ridiculous. She takes all of your stun guns, but gear 11, throw any scoundrels behind her, and you can have a team that could potentially get the maximum amount of banners in the right situation.
That's a good point. I like the thought there. All right, so the next thing is the number of defensive squads. This was one thing I was really curious about, as far as how many we would have, and they kind of broke it down by GP. And so there are basically 5 different galactic power brackets. If you are below 1.25 million galactic power, you'll set 3. If you're between 1.25 and just under 1.75, you'll set 4. If you're at 1.75 to just under 2.75, you're at 5. And then if you're from 2.75 up to just under 4, 6 defensive squads, and then 4 million and over, there will be 7 defensive squads. So it kind of scales a little bit. There's a 500,000 galactic power gap in the, that kind of second bracket, and then it jumps up to, let's see, 1 million and then 1.25. So, there's pretty significant differences between the galactic powers, it seems, as far as how they rank them. What do you guys think about the way they did this?
I've got 7. That's a lot. that's a lot of teams.
Yeah. I agree. That's why I put that question there for the podcast polls. Can you field a full offense and defense that you're happy with, you feel like you can beat anyone with? And for me, I only put the defense because I feel like I could set a defense that's awesome. But after that, I did that this time around. Obviously, we didn't get the battle phase. I didn't get to battle at all. But the only things I really had left for offense was a wedge lead, Night Sisters, my clones. Not a whole lot left on offense for me after I set defense. And if I set my defense, I set Revan, I set a Thrawn Imperial Trooper team, the Sith, Ewoks, and then there was one other one. I can't remember who the other one was. But other than that, it was hard for me to look for offense teams after that. So it's an interesting number, but I mean, if it was less, it would be kind of underwhelming as far as what you had to fight in Grand Arena, right?
Well, you almost have to go goofy, right? You have to set 3 or 4 really solid teams, and then just set goofy stuff. You hope to confuse them and just hope that they lose a character or two when they're fighting you. Okay, I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's gonna, if you see, I place a Boba Fett lead with Sunfac, maybe they underestimate it and potentially go in there and lose, or maybe they go in there and lose a character or two. It's much better than even placing traditional TW teams that everyone has a automatic counter for, like First Order, Bounty Hunter, Kira, Revan, Trey, whatever the case is. You have a counter for that team. If you switch it up a little bit, that counter team might not work, and then you're scrambling and throwing together 5 random characters that aren't modded to work together. And, you might lose. You might get a hold just being silly, so.
No.
Yeah. That is true.
It'll be interesting.
Phoenix does seem to be a popular one. I saw a lot of guys in the guild, a lot of guys on the just people in Discord just posting pictures of their defensive teams. A lot of those teams included undergeared Phoenix just for fluff. I mean, you do need a decent team to go in there and beat them because there's so much protection and health regeneration. That's a good team for offense potentially. People that invest in the Phoenix could have a nice offensive team now again for the maximum banners. Lots of offense or lots of protection and health generation. You just have to kill somebody, and then you neglect your Jedi team because you pretty much have to use Ezra. So,
yeah, that's a good point. And that becomes really important too. If you're using Jedi and Ezra, for example, and moving him to a Jedi team, you need to make sure the rest of your Phoenix are good to go. It's definitely going to cause you to really worry about a wide variety of mods and setting up a wide variety of teams, which is going to be interesting. Let's see. The next thing is if you go and hit the event rewards tab inside the Grand Arena, you'll be able to go and look at the inventory of your opponent. I think you guys actually released a pretty cool graphic on the steps you have to go through to do this, right?
I don't know if I would say it's cool, but I was such a dummy. We
effective.
I participated in the beta, and it took me like 30 minutes to find out, like, how do I find out where my person's profile is? I'm like, they must have, made a way to do that. Anyway, yes, it's a little graphic. I might do it up a little better. I just wanted to make sure that the exhibition is the same as when the actual proper territory wars happens, because I don't think it's going to be 2 zones. I think we're going to add in ships, so there's some graphics I want to make for it, but I'm going to wait until it settles into something that we can depend on.
What did yours look like?
Pardon me?
What did it look like? Was it 4 squares?
Yes, it's five squares, maybe, like a big one, and then 4 beside it with red arrows and like my finger, like Star Wars yellow circle and arrows everywhere.
Was there a big smiley face on it?
Mm-hmm.
I seen one that was like someone took screenshots of the game and then like added in the markup with like big smiley faces and arrows. I couldn't figure out if that one was yours or not.
It sounds like me.
All right, I'm just gonna assume the one I saw was yours, and it was awesome.
It's funny, everyone was talking about deleting their swgoh.gg profiles. If you did this, your guild mates thank you for nothing. So like it just like you went there and deleted your I don't even know if you can do it anymore. You should delete your profile to kind of, make it to where your opponent can't see you, and then your guild can't properly use those bots anymore. You can't. It's hard for to organize. And unnecessary.
The other, I guess, final thing is the rewards. One thing I do like about this is you get 100,000 credits for each battle you win on offense. So basically, over a week, you should be able to get 1.8 million credits if you're, in my galactic power. If you're in, like Maurice's tier, you'll get a little bit more than that. You'll get 2.1. So this is going to be a nice little addition as far as credits goes, and we are going to have these prizes. It looks like there were 2 different prizes as well. That was something that I found kind of interesting. And
well, you got 3 rounds, right? You fight 3 people. At the end of every round, you get rewards for that round. And then at the end, your placement, you get the rewards for that. So 1 round, we got our round score and the whole Grand Arena score in one go. I think one important thing to mention with Season 0 of this Grand Arena is these aren't the final rewards for what the actual week-long event is. So we don't actually know what the actual rewards are. But for one round, I'd say they're pretty good as far as what we've seen so far. Here's a question, and this is random, but do you think it'll only be like it is now? Do you think that we could see a Grand Arena character introduced, maybe not now when it comes out, but later on? I mean, like, it's interesting the way these rewards are, right? Do you think that would be something that they would think about?
I think I could definitely see it.
I think there's going to be something. There's going to be something to talk about, and mod salvage and an MK5 droid collar is something to talk about in a different way than that it's I think that Crumb has said in the forums that these are the rewards for the first round. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing the rewards for the first round, and then we haven't. The rewards for the subsequent rounds have not been revealed yet. But I think it would be really neat to have something where there was some motivation to get it, where it was exclusive. I really do. I trust them to kind of shepherd the game along, and whether putting something that's exclusive to Territory Wars is going to exclude a bunch of people. We don't want to do that, right? Because there are a lot of people who just don't want to participate in Grand Arena. So I'm curious what it'll be like. I know they have a plan. I trust their plan, but who knows what that's gonna. I'm curious to see what that's gonna be.
Well, don't you think that's the most interesting part too? Is that Territory Wars and Grand Arena, as far as we know, don't have a character attached to them, but every other game mode does. I think my biggest detriment with character shards in Territory Wars and maybe Grand Arena, I don't know what the timeline for those are, but the biggest thing was always been they don't come around that often. So putting a character in there means 7-starring it in 6 or 7 months, which we know already from the community outrage or community feedback, I should say, is that if it's going to take you 6 months to a year to 7-star a character, people don't like that, like Mother Talzin and Wicket in those events, right? So that's the only reason I can think that there isn't something in there. But I got to think that if they bumped up the amount of shards you got from those events to not be on par with more frequent events like territory battles and other things, then I would hope it would come someday, And I do believe you. They have a plan. We don't know it. I kind of like with putting the Django on the Houndstooth shard. They have plans in place for the future that we don't know about, but it'd be interesting. I really want to know what's coming. You know what I mean?
I will say this. I think it would be more likely that they would add in a Grand Arena store than just character shards to the winner, because with the Grand Arena store, they could do currency based on how you finish each round, how you finish each event, and then you would be able to buy the character shards, and they could throw in multiple characters to where you have to decide. That's what they've done just about every time they release some significant game mode, whether it be, raids, or I should say raid, or fleet, or something like that. So I think that would be more likely.
I think a lot hinges on the participation. If everyone's gung-ho and really participating in Grand Arena with, marginal rewards, they don't really need to put a character in there to get the participation up.
Yeah.
But if people aren't really that interested, if we're basing our guesses off, I guess, the exhibition rewards, the daily rewards for the individual matches I think they're fantastic. Those of you guys that answered the poll and just can't stand Grand Arena and hate it, all you have to do is place any junk defense. It'll take you 15 seconds and lose all 4 matches, and you get enough purple salvage to craft a 6E mod. You have to do absolutely nothing for all the purple salvage you need. So I think that mod salvage reward is great, but that's just, it caters to what I enjoy about the game, perhaps. But the tier reward, those 12 gold components, if that's the season reward, that's a little underwhelming, right? Like if you get first place and you get 12,
well,
power modulators.
The 12, the 12 things for mods, that was for that round.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you would essentially get.
So that's not the season reward, even though it's the exhibition.
Correct.
Like, I do hope there's a season reward. We talked about this on the stream the other night. Like, if all these guilds that really, really try hard every month and get at the top of the raid leaderboards, all they have are bragging rights. They get no reward whatsoever. It'd be nice to see some sort of end reward for the very best players that they're, advertising this for. So that would be nice to see. Perhaps those character shards, that would be super unfair, huh? 20 people in the game have a certain character and nobody else.
I think that's the thing is, they don't want to. The Territory Wars and Grand Arena are going to, fuel people engaging in the game and building squads that they have no reason to have other than these game modes. I mean, we've all talked 100%. About we have these 2 defense teams that we're a little bit embarrassed to put on. Well, everybody's in the same boat right now. So if we just kind of sucked it up and said, okay, chill everyone, let's just play as we are, but we're not going to do that. We're going to be like, I'm going to gear 12 Akbar, and ships, right? If they if they place 2 ships down instead of 1, well, goodness gracious, all of a sudden you're going to need to have 4 decent ship squads, or be placing cheese on defense. So it's going to this game mode is going to pull us along, and so I don't think that they're going to want to make it too frustrating for people to have the consequence of losing be so great that they're just like, ugh, I can't even play this game anymore, because it is very polarizing. Territory Wars is very, very polarizing.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think we'll ever see 2 ship fleets required on defense, because then you would only have 1 attempt on each enemy, because there's only 4 capital ships at the moment. So there's only so much you'd be able to do there. I think that's one fortunate thing, is they would probably only give us 1, and, you got 3 chances at beating it. Good luck.
I think if we have to field 2 ships, a new fleet commander is coming almost immediately. That's...
I 100% agree.
It's the warning sign. Shoot the flare. Time to panic for a fleet commander.
Imagine a world where there were no fleet commanders, and all you could do was call in reinforcements.
Where's that new Gunray fleet commander ship that was in the data mine 2.5 years ago? Where's that at?
Still there.
It's still hanging out.
Still chilling with that weird C-shaped ship.
Yep.
So, T-Money, do you want to defend your trivia prowess?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
It's time for the sexy bearded duo to battle in their Swoga knowledge in the most exciting trivia event in the Outer Rim. It's time for the Shattered Order Trivia. May the Force be with you.
Question:
I don't have a beard.
Either? That's what I was just about to ask. I was saying. So, to our 2 guests, do either of you have beards?
I have no alcohol other than Sambuca in my house anymore. It is gone.
Interesting response.
Yes, interesting.
No.
I ask about beards, and you talk about
beards. Oh, sorry. I don't have the beard that I'm going to admit to, no.
All right, well, I guess we'll find out soon. Anyways, Kahoot trivia. Let's do this. All right, so let me bring up this other screen here. All right, so, oh, wow, I did not set this up. Hold on. We're going to do this.
Blushing, T-Money?
We're doing
Pardon
it.
me?
No, that's a no. Okay.
You can't see it through the beard. All right, so I'm sorry, T. I didn't mean it. All right, Shattered Order trivia. This week is a mishmash. Tess just threw together some awesome trivia. Kind of goes through mods and bugs and all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's a mishmash. What it's about, it's kind of a mystery. What I'm going to do, so you guys know, Wink kind of knows how I do this. I run on 2 phones here, so I can ask the question and then I'll say go, and then we'll answer the question together, and then let everyone know how we did. So for those that are at home, the Kahoot pin is, and for those here on the show, 0959992. So 0959992. If you need me to repeat it, I will again. I don't know. Did Wink have this music playing last time you did trivia?
Yes.
You know where it's from, right?
Yes. So it's Cantina music.
Super stoked when we got that MP3. It's good stuff. All right, so first question: Who are you guys ready? Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yes. I think.
All right, he's ready. T, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. First question is... All right, there it is. In Grand Arena, rear squads are blocked like in Territory Wars. True or false? Go. Answers are true or false.
Is Sambuca an option?
Yeah, that's going to be on my mind the rest of the night. I don't have any of that. All right, I assume, I'm willing to guess that everyone put true. Did everyone put true?
Of course not.
Are you joking? Wink, I need a real answer here. Did you put true or did you put false?
I put false.
Okay. You scared me for a moment. The other two are very quiet, so maybe one of them put true.
No. I got this one
Oh,
right.
sorry. No, it's false. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Just making sure. Next question
I think
is...
I've already beat my high score from the last time I was on the show. So
I got one.
already doing better than I did before.
I ain't saying a lot.
Bonuses are given in Grand Arena like they are in this game mode. And it lists a bunch of game modes. All right, go.
Options are Territory War, nope, not a thing, Sith Triumphant Raid, or Galactic War.
I don't know which one to pick.
I will say, Tesh was not clear about what bonuses he's referring to.
Yeah. Which is why I picked the
I
picked the answer I did.
What did you guys select?
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
I also picked not a thing.
Yeah, I didn't. I picked Territory War because I was thinking like the bonuses for, finishing it in one battle or two battles, stuff like that.
I just thought that the bonuses, if they meant like for completing this and that, were not the same, so it was not a thing. And also there weren't any like team bonuses, so I just went with that, though I was fighting with Territory Wars as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I picked
All
Galactic War, so I was very wrong. I'm just kidding. All right, next question. A player
Question
with
3.
2 million GP has to place this many defensive squads in Grand Arena. 4, 6, 5, or 7. And go. Oh, no.
Yeah, I was spacing out when you guys went over this on the show.
The options, 5, 7, 6, or 4. What did you guys select?
4.
It's 5.
I picked 5.
I picked 5 as well. I had to think about the tiers and like start counting backwards.
It's tricky because it's
answer.
It's a big jump from 2 to 3. It's a big jump.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that 2 million probably wasn't in the first. Isn't the first zone only 3, and then the next one's 4, and then the next one after that's 5?
I was thinking it starts at 4. It's up to 1 1/4, then 1 1/4 to 2 1/4, and then 2 1/4 to 3, and then no, maybe that's wrong. Who the hell knows?
Who knows?
Never mind.
All right, never mind. Round 2, question 3 or 4. It is possible to change your time zone payout by half-hour increments. Go.
This is a true-false question.
I am offended.
What did you guys select? T or F?
T, baby.
What? You can change your time zone by a half hour? I don't know where you would have got that.
Yeah, it's tricky, but you can do it. There's like a post floating around about it.
Fancy.
Well, I know that there are time zones that are around 30 minutes. I didn't ever see that in the drop down, but apparently I was wrong. I got that one wrong.
True as well. I did see something about that earlier, so I did get it right.
Yeah, I got it wrong too. This trivia is making it glaringly obvious that I don't read the forums.
All right, here we go. Next question. Which of these game modes was least bugged when released? And go.
None.
Oh.
The answers are Grand Arena, Territory Battles, Territory Wars, and Heroic AAT.
What?
I don't know.
Nope. Tank raid.
She's noping.
Oops, sorry. I stole the answer. My bad.
Does misleading us to gear Jawas count as bugged in Ugnaught?
Oh, God, I was thinking Sith raid.
Yes,
anybody out there with a Gear 11 Ugnaught, shame on you.
So sorry. So sorry.
I got it wrong.
I picked Heroic AAT only because when it came out, it wasn't bugged so much as everyone hated it because it had so much health.
That wasn't heroic. That was just the regular AAT. The heroic AAT, I don't think has ever been changed. Has it?
Probably not.
Xylo was changed. Xylo's cooldown mechanic.
Yeah, they changed. Yeah, they changed some mechanics as far as that goes, but like there really hasn't been any significant changes to it.
To the actual raid, opposed
to the
characters.
actual raid itself. I think it's been to characters.
No, they did change it. They changed it to where when the tank enrages, it puts the health down uncleansable on it. Because people were just like
true. Yep.
soloing P4 with the clone, just keep going and going and going. But I mean that wasn't that bugged. I mean that Newt Gunray still holds the game record for quickest nerf with about 45 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm
All right,
terrible.
what is this? Question 6?
I believe so.
Which technique does not artificially inflate your roster? And go.
And the options are adding unleveled mods to everyone, leveling everyone to 53, gearing everyone to gear 7, or gear 12 plus pieces to everyone.
I hate myself for this.
This was more of a riddle than it was a trivia question.
Did you know?
That's a good point. What did you select, Goodnight Punk?
I selected adding unleveled mods. I thought maybe that with the
Okay.
gear, like leveling up the mods was what added the GP, not adding them, but I was wrong.
That makes sense. That's the second most reasonable answer. But I think if you're adding gear 12 plus pieces, that's probably not artificially inflated. You're probably in a pretty good spot.
That's what I chose.
Threw it a little zinger there.
I guess I didn't pay attention to the quotation marks.
Yeah, that is fair. Next question.
All right, question 7. Which costs more credits, leveling a 5-dot mod from 1 to 15 or slicing from gray to gold?
Jeez.
Holy crap. I should know this.
Well, I got it wrong again.
So did I.
And the beard gets more gray hairs.
Wow.
Up to you, GoodOl'Maurice.
I didn't know, so I tried to be funny and put they're both free. I picked they're the same. I had no idea. I thought this was another riddle.
Yeah, I put exactly the same.
The answer is slicing. It costs more credits to slice a mod from gray to gold than it does to take a 5-dot from 1 to 15.
That is shocking.
Interesting. That is
madness.
really shocking. I thought the same thing.
All right, next question we got. Which costs more, mod energy on average? Farming a 5-dot green mod or farming a 10 bonding pins? And go. I really want to pick that answer that I know is wrong.
Me too.
I think I disagree with this answer because I got it wrong.
I also got it wrong. I tried to be cheeky. It did not work.
I guessed wildly and I got it right.
Interesting.
I actually knew this one just because I tracked the mod drop rates for months. So,
Okay, good. So, what is the drop rate of green mods then?
probably about 15. Looks like about 15 to 20%, if I remember correctly. Or excuse me, I'm sorry. That's way wrong. Let's see. Okay, here, I've got the sheet right here. 940 total mods. I got 168 green. So not as good as you think.
Really?
Yeah. And the bonding pins are almost 100%, maybe like 90% drop rate.
Are bonding pins the first one? Which one is that?
It's the first one. But I think they all have the same drop rate. It's just the stuff to go from 5-dot to 6-dot costs more energy, so it's a little bit different. But I tracked a couple thousand drops, and it appeared to be around 120% drop rate.
So just to be consistent here, the answers were 10 bonding pins, 1 green mod, or I don't like this. I really wanted to... The correct answer was 10 bonding pins. I really wanted to click I don't like this.
10 bonding pins, I guess, cost basically, 36 to probably 40 energy? No. I don't know. 120%.
All right, last question. Here you go.
150 energy, probably.
Which costs more crystals? Leveling 15 dot... Which costs more crystals? Leveling 15 5-dot mods to 15 or buying 1 5-dot gold mod? Go.
The answers are: I refuse to answer, buying
Oh my
one
God.
perfect 5-dot gold mod. I don't like where this is going, or leveling 15 mods.
I don't...
I
Is
think
that
we
true?
know Maurice's answer.
It can't be
Yes.
true.
Yes, it is.
It's what, 500? No, it's 250, isn't it?
Yeah.
Son of a... I was doing the wrong maths.
Yeah, I did the old math too, man. That's exactly
I was
what
doing
did.
old maths here.
I multiplied it by 2 million. I don't know what I was thinking. A lot of credits for the level one mod. 200 makes a lot more sense.
Well, I think everyone beat me.
No,
I think.
I actually instantly force closed that app when I saw the scoreboard.
What did you guys all end up with?
2,600 points.
Oh, I got him by 300.
Oh, not good.
61.74. You got me, Wink.
63.21.
And Sour D in the lead by quite a little bit there.
He hasn't even answered the last question. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it hasn't updated for me yet.
Amazing.
Oh, holy crap. Yeah, 76.32 to Sour D.
Thanks,
Very
Sour
nice,
D.
man. That's awesome.
Congratulations, you know 3 times the amount of stuff I do in the game.
All right. Well, we have gone. This is right up there with one of our longest, best episodes. There, I will throw both those words in this category. So, thank you guys for hanging out with us. This has been a lot of fun. I know you probably weren't in this for 3 hours, but we dragged you along, and we appreciate it. So, thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Thank you guys.
We appreciate it. And yeah, thank you guys for coming on again. It was a lot of fun, as always. And yeah. Anything else you guys want to plug?
No, I think we're good. We got some videos coming out this week. We're starting a workshop series on Grand Arena, so I can release some of my inside knowledge that I don't want to kind of blast out there to a smaller group. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, just our stream.
Awesome. Well, if you don't know, go look up Operation Metaverse on YouTube. Great stuff.
Indeed.
Love all the videos you guys put out. I wish that I wasn't at work when you guys stream, because I would be in there blowing up your chat every week. But if you have not been there, go check out their stream and their videos. It's really good stuff. So as far as we go, let's cut it out here. This is the new standard, 3 hours and 10 minutes. We'll see if we can beat it ever again. Maybe we'll have you on to beat it next time. And yeah, thanks guys, and we will catch you all later.
Later.
You've just finished with the Shattered Order podcast. Join us next week for another round.